Yo, hello. How are you? What's going on? What's popping? What's good? We back. We back after a couple weeks.
Nice.
I hope during last week you guys got to get in some of your growth work because it's really a no days off. Entrepreneurship is a no days off mentality, so you should be always gathering knowledge. This class is just a supplement to your daily dedication and commitment to growing. Mm-hmm. And hopefully this adds fuel to whatever fire that you already got. So we got a class today. We got one of them ones again. What we're going to do today in this half is go over that summary of the whole book. So I'm hoping that we can strike through it. Most of it shouldn't be anything that you guys haven't already read, right? That book should be read, done. And if we have any questions or any confusion about certain topics, we can open up the discussion. We can talk about it and we can really iron it out. And then we'll move on to our next book. So I hope everybody had a good weekend and having a good week so far. Hope y'all made some money, got some bread, knocked some deals down. Mm-hmm. And let's get started. Conscious leadership. Let's go. All right. So we're going to run through this. This is a summary of the whole book. You guys remember the 4 types of leadership. To me, leaders. By me, leaders. As me, and through me. Remember those. Right? Question then. Which type of leader is the type of leader that you want to be at all times? We got one.
Said as me.
You heard her?
What'd you say? I heard her. It was the speaker was kind of weird, but I heard her.
Yeah, just feedback. The mic was a little hot.
She said, "As me, Kaja, we got one as me."
I think that's where we want to be, but I think the second one, by me. I think by me. Yeah, I'm gonna say by me.
So I got a by me and I got a as me. Anybody else? So remember, we want to stay away from the to me's. To me's. What's a good professional word that I could use for people who are to me leaders? Is that victim professional? I was gonna say bitches.
Oh, wow.
But we can say victims. We do not want to be a to me. I'm sure you've experienced it, having to work for somebody who's a to me, because the drama always rolls downhill to you, especially if you are working for that person. So to me's are the worst leaders because they have power. And so a gross abuse of that power happens a lot to me's. And nothing rarely gets done because the diffusion of responsibility happens all the time. So the next 3, by me, as me, and through me, those 3 are ones that you can navigate in and out of. The through me leadership is actually another level of consciousness that very few of us would ever get to. We might get to, see glimpses of it or get there sometimes, but through me leadership takes a lifetime of self-work. But by me is a choice. That's where you could start. By me, you're already head and shoulders above the crowd just by taking on that leadership identity as by me. And then as me and through me is a spectrum of consciousness that you rise to. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? By me, as me, through me. Through me is the last one, right? So, I believe. Yeah, so that's a spectrum of consciousness. By me is me. By me is the start. Yeah. Yeah. Most of us humans are already default to that to me. Because when we come into this world, we have to rely on everyone around us for our well-being. So the problem is most of the time, most of us don't have that click over moment to take responsibility. There's no rite of passage. There's no click over moment to say, oh shit, it's on me now. Even when some of us grow up and take responsibility in life and we do certain adult things or certain responsibility things, there's not a full click over a lot of times. And that's where that works in a society where you have to connect into a job or a government that can provide you and pay for your bills and give you jobs and all sorts of things like that. But once you enter into entrepreneurship, you have to have a full commitment to click over into those other spaces. So you own it. It's on you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Shabisha. I didn't mean to take that over for you. Go ahead.
You're good. Second bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Conscious or unconscious leadership. Binary concept.
So, this book teaches leadership in a binary way, which means binary is a ones and zero. It's either on or it's off. There's no in between. There's no gray. There's no ramp up. You're either above the line or below the line. So, in this particular space, you're either a conscious leader or you're unconscious. There's no in between. And so, I like the perspective of this book because it allows you to, it forces you to make a choice, to pick a side, even just for the purpose of the exercise of the book. Next slide.
Taking radical responsibility.
Okay. Y'all heard this so many times. Y'all didn't heard this word. Prior to what, 2022? When did we start using radical responsibility? 2 or 3 years ago? You probably never heard the word in your life. In your life.
Never in your life.
You heard it enough times now, shit. You've heard it enough times in the last 3 years to fill up your lifetime. On purpose. Why? Radical responsibility is a start. That's like radical responsibility is the equivalent of building a house with a concrete slab first. Concrete slab. If we're talking house building, radical responsibility is your concrete slab. Without that, don't talk to me about nothing. Oh, you bought a brand new fancy refrigerator? All right. Dual pane windows? Okay. If your foundation is not good, none of it is. So radical responsibility is foundationally what you need as you start. And the dope part about radical responsibility is you can start taking radical responsibility at any moment in your life. This isn't a course that you have to take or a class. It's a decision. It's a decision. It's a commitment that you have to take. Once you make the commitment, you in. You in for you in. You in for life. It's like being jumped into a gang. That's it. But and you'll see that life is split in half by those who take radical responsibility and those who don't. And those who take radical responsibility hate hanging around people who don't. It just feels weird. It's like, I pass. The conversation structure is completely different. So let's go.
I commit to taking full responsibility for the circumstances of my life.
Man, that's a commitment. If you haven't already taken that commitment to yourself, take it. Take it. We got a pool in the back. We can baptize you in radical responsibility. I can baptize you.
Word.
I got a pool, special one for you, Josh.
Can I get a amen?
What else?
I commit to supporting others to take full responsibility for their lives.
So you know what that means, right? So you are also an evangel. What is that? You are a evangelizer of this radical responsibility movement, which means your job also is to not subsidize those around you to not take radical responsibility. This does two things. It's deeper than just this line. Once I take radical responsibility for everything around me, how am I viewed now? By my peers, by people who see me as a leader, right? And what happens when people view you as a leader? You start getting the accolades of a leader, the respect of a leader. And sometimes that can feel good, right? And it can also allow you to sometimes subsidize the people around you because you want to hold your position, that leadership role, and everybody's down here and everybody's kind of blind because they're victim. So what's better? What's the best combination for a victim? The hero. Mm-hmm. Radical responsibility. I got it figured out. I fixed my life, and I got all these victims around me who need me now. They can be codependent on me, and I can create this dope little kingdom of codependence. The deep part of this line, which you guys may not have caught, is saying, I commit to supporting others to take full responsibility for their lives, is saying, hell no, fuck that shit. I'm going to make other leaders around me.
No one talks like that. No one talks like that, bro.
Bro, that's that real. I am going to make other leaders around me. And I'm going to grow people around me. Maybe they might mess around and be better than me. But that's my job as a leader. So it keeps you from being at the top. It keeps you humble. It allows you to create an environment where people can challenge you, help you be better, maybe be better than you. Because that's your job. So that's what I love about that line. We ain't in here to hoard knowledge. We could be, this whole time, we can just be teaching this shit and sounding like science. We can be up here sounding like super geniuses. No book title. Where'd y'all learn that from? Man, bruh just had this vision, man. He had this dream at night, woke up and wrote it down. Like, it's all kind of stories you can create. You see what I'm saying? But guess what? The game is to be told, not to be sold. The game is to be told, not to be sold to our people. Where'd you get that?
You know the rules of the game.
Where'd you get that from? Where'd you learn that from? This? Where'd you learn this book? Where'd you learn that from? Here? See what I'm saying? That's the beauty of that second line. I'm saying, I commit to being a leader, but I also commit to creating an environment that grows leaders. Like, think about Elon Musk, right? People got all these opinions about Elon Musk. But he figured out a way to enhance technology to build a car that smoked everybody in 2012, 13. Smoked everybody. the torque in his car. I don't give a shit what kind of car you driving, how souped up, 500 horsepower. His shit smoked everybody, and it's electric, right? He after 10 years, he said, you know what? I want to be a part of what helps save this world. So I'm a give you all the technology, all the car companies, the technology I used to build this car. Here, go. That's when the same year all these electronic, Ford came out with one. Everybody came out with their versions of electronic cars, and then the new companies just out the blue came out. That's because Elon Musk put all the game up, didn't patent it, put all the game up. He's like, I'll keep the chargers, but y'all can have a whole technology how to build a car. Because it's a game, it's a life game thing. It's a earth thing that I'm also doing this for. That's crazy. He's like, he said, if y'all catch me after a 10-year head start, you deserve it. You deserve to win. So leadership is part of that. Next one.
Being a hero can be a toxic feat.
Being a hero can be a toxic feat. That's why line 2 so dope and so important. Line 2 could save your ass. Playing a hero by yourself so long and enjoying that particular position, and you ain't built nobody up around you. Guess what? Players fuck up. Is that a saying? Who says that? That's a saying somewhere. Well, players fall, right? That's just what happens sometimes. Guess what? When they do, who's around you? I just want to be the biggest fish in the pond at all times. Okay. It's a toxic feat. You create reliance around you and you don't build others up. Let's go.
Self-blame is equally as toxic as blaming other people or circumstances, and it is not taking responsibility.
Self-blame. Remember that? Remember we talked about that? Self-blame. So taking responsibility and self-blame is self-blame is toxic. It's different from taking responsibility. One says, I own it. It is mine. And the other says, it's all my fault. I'm a failure. Ownership is taking responsibility. So if your kids is acting up in the store and somebody say, who kids is this? And you say, them my kids. You wasn't the one that was tearing stuff up in the store, but them are your kids. You own it. It was yours. And in business and in entrepreneurship and in life, you take that mold, you take that mentality. I own everything that happens around me. What can I do? What could I have learned? How can I have influenced the situation? Just play the game. Just play the game. That's true leadership. And once you really get good at this game, man, you'll come up with some amazing ideas. It'll be never-ending growth and never-ending solutions to who you are as an entrepreneur and a business person. Because you're always looking. How can I have influenced the situation? Man, I told you 4 weeks back, we had a breach in integrity at my company. I'm enjoying so much now. They're arguing over whose responsibility of it. No, I could have did so and so. No, well, before it got to you, I could have did. I was like, oh yes. Because here come the ideas. Oh, but so then maybe we could do this, and here's a new solution. I smashed because breach of integrity, lack of radical responsibility. So now the culture's shifting, and people are like, no, you know what? That was on me. I should have, and here's what I'm doing next time. Like, nah, I know it's on you, but it was on me too. I could have. That is how, when you do that, it's the equivalent of how we go after the bill at a restaurant. We all own it. We all own it. So when everybody owns it, It's just so much better. This one is, that's why it's early. It's commitment number one. If you ain't got this, the rest don't matter. What's the last one?
All drama in leadership and life is caused by the need to be right. Letting go of that need is a radical shift
Shoo.
all leaders make.
Come on. Come on. So, if you really read that sentence, it says all drama in leadership and life is caused by the need to be right. So if you're suffering or you always suffering, always got drama, it's because you fighting too much over your rightness. What does that get you in the end, being right? Most of the time. It don't get you nothing. Sometimes it breaks relationships. Sometimes you lose. Sometimes when you right, you lose. We're in the winning game. We ain't in the right and wrong game. Leaders win. You know why they win? Because they're responsible for others. So I'm responsible for others. Then I approach situations different. I got a shit ton. I got a lot of people that rely on me to be on top of my game. I can't. I have to do X. So you got to let go of the need to be right. It seems so foreign to do. It seems so anti what's inside of you, against your nature. But as you grow in entrepreneurship and you start the process of like, who cares? I could be wrong. I hired I have an assistant now, and she's trying to figure out my personality. Right? And so, like, good fucking luck. But she's dope. She's dope. Really smart. And one of the times she said, do you know what X, Y, and Z is? I said, I don't know. And she starts laughing. She's like, I've never been around a person who just says they don't know sometimes. I said, question for you. How could you trust me if there's never a time when I say, I don't know? How would you be able to trust me? Wouldn't you? Isn't that lack of integrity? She's like, okay. Because I don't care about the rightness. If two people are in a room and they come up with the best answer, the answer that wins, then we're going to eat better. Don't got to be by you. You're an orchestrator. You're a leader. A leader sets the ecosystem up. Any questions on taking radical responsibility? No. Good. Next slide.
Commitment number 2, learning. I value learning over being right.
Keep going.
I value growing over the survival of my identity. I choose identity and wonder. Conscious leaders conscious leaders are passionately committed to knowing themselves. Let go of being right. Once you do, you can learn from the moments you are defensive.
Wait, say it again.
Yeah, it's pretty minor.
Let go of being right. Once you do, you can learn from the moments.
Oh, sorry, that's a mistype. The moments you are defensive. Yeah. So, learning. You guys remember the illustration about the eagle, right? The eagle can live 40 years or it can live 70 years. Which one do you choose? Which one you want? And so I value growing over the survival of my identity is literally a similar choice in life. If you got stripes being a street dude and your prime of your life was when you was in the streets, and for whatever reason, you're not anymore because you want to be a better person, but every story you got is about being in the streets. You are choosing not to grow because you do not want to let go of that identity. So everything around you, your friends, what you attract, your responsibilities, your music, all still revolves around the identity of being a street dude, even though you ain't in the streets no more. So guess what you attract? Nothing. Guess what you do? Nothing. Because your intentions ain't on what you want. It's on what you used to be. It's in the past.
I hate Josh. Go away, Josh. Go away. Go. You ain't.
Josh said, man, court that really hit home. He said that really hit home. Josh used to be a street dude, y'all. Oh, God. So Josh was in the streets. Oh, God. He was in a gang.
It's called Bank of America.
Go ahead.
So, so many of these points were like gut punches, because it's interesting being in this class and extremely helpful because it's kind of like a mirror. It's almost like going to church, and when you're reading your Bible and you're like having your conversations with God and you're doing all the things, like you feel connected. And then you go to church and you show up and you don't do nothing and you run the streets and you act crazy, but you're still doing the thing of going to church. And what's cool about this class is not losing touch with the ability to have the tools to see yourself. And so, like, as the different stages of going through growing a business and growing myself, quite frankly, there's all these opportunities to stay small or to push past my comfort levels. And this right here was just like one of those bumping up against my comfort zones of like acknowledging what does learning, like a commitment to learning, really look like. And so that this was just really interesting because I think it's easy to put your title on yourself. If I learn or I study or I do all these things, but it's like the intention and intensity of which you do those things can vary. And so I appreciate this class for just forcing me to stay into an honest conversation about the report card of where I'm at and what I'm actually doing.
Well, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you for bringing this class back on track after the shit Josh was talking about.
But it was funny, though.
Question: what is the difference between school and learning?
One is theory, and one is active.
Yes, great. School is mostly, not mostly. If you have gotten a degree from school, you already graduate with outdated information. It's the truth. It's the truth. Can it be useful? Absolutely. But you know that your information is somewhat outdated. It'll say the year of those books. Now, there are some things that haven't advanced much technologically, but most things, most degrees, most ideologies, they're theory. So it gives you a whole high-level idea about the topic. Learning, if you're constantly committed to never ending your journey of learning, then your software is always updated. Always updated. You're always updating your mental software and what you're doing. So you have to commit yourself to learning, never ending. Till the day you die does not end. To the day you die. So you're constantly evolving and involving your learning, reading and understanding and trying to apply knowledge and things that you learn on a day-to-day basis. I remember 10, 12, 13 years ago when I was designing at I was designing apparel at a company, and intern came and he said, "Man, how'd you learn how to design like that, man?" I said, "I read a book, and the book had a CD attached to it, and I just followed the CD, and when I got to the end of the book, I knew how to use it, and I practiced my ass off." He's like, "What?" He's like, "No, I'm going to school for this." I said, "Okay, cool." So he took a class, Adobe Photoshop 1. At the end of the class, I'm like, "Yo, how was the class? How was Adobe Photoshop? You know how to use it now?" He's like, "No, it's just an overall theory of how it works." I said, "When do you start practicing it?" He's like, "We start at Adobe Photoshop 2. So you got to do a whole nother 6 months? Of course your trajectory is going to be slow. Because you don't get to practice. It's theory, then it's all these things. So it's not that it's not useful for some things, but you got to know that school sometimes can be outdated. Is that you have to, the times where it's useful is when you are in rigorous application mode of what you're learning.
Mm-hmm.
Be in rigorous application mode.
Can I? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just had a quick question. Could you explain the difference between the third bullet point of I choose identity and wonder? Like, what do you mean by that?
Okay. You want to go first, and I'll go hit her.
Okay. Well, let me get, because it's gonna kind of scratch some of that surface. I have a different take on this, and I want to kind of go in a different. There's multiple causations to any challenge. This has been on my mind for the last 2 weeks, actually. And it's an intersection of as me, by me, to me. So to me is a first person. You're looking at life through first person. So, and a lot of times it's a theory of time, and I get into that on my session. But so because life is happening to me, you're almost being rushed through life without any control or any access to anything, right? Mm-hmm. So often, becoming a learner is a way of, you have to become a learner, not learning. You can't learn without becoming a learner. What do you mean by that, Nana? Learning is not a clean process of opening up a book, or having a job and working at that job. I know a lot of people open up books and they still don't get anything. It doesn't translate. When your status is on the line or your ego's on the line, quite often you are disrupting the intersections of learning. If I announce an idea, if I say to you, "This is my idea, now this is what I believe in," I just stopped the process of learning. Learning is like how can I say this? Learning is a point where you're so curious that you're even questioning your own personal identity at all times. Nothing is written in stone. Nothing is, you're just trying to learn. When you commit to learning, it's a lifestyle. It's a way that you move. It's the way that you think. It's the way that you talk. It's not a book that you read. It's not a class that you've taken. It's not a job that you've had, right? Because you can have all those three things I just mentioned, but every time you have an intersection that allows you to dive deeper, gain greater ownership, or connect different patterns to build complex models, you lose those opportunities because you're defensive. Because in the end, if I tell you, "Hey, that's a bad idea," if I say, "No, here's an idea that goes against something you believe in," what happens is you put your value on trial. So for people who don't feel like they're good enough, we disrupt learning all the time because we're too busy trying to protect how we feel about ourselves. Because a lot of times, think about this, imagine going to an event tomorrow, just close your eyes, imagine going to an event, and every time you open your mouth, somebody tells you you're wrong? How you gonna feel at the end of the day? Are you happy, or do you feel less? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel empowered, or do you feel like it was under attack? And that in itself, we're building a culture right now where in order for you to learn, you have to be able to see from other angles. There's no such thing as you're going to own all the right knowledge. It's not possible. Even if the knowledge you have is right today, it has no value to the next level of your life. But when you get to the point you start guarding your knowledge, and most of the time, remember, your knowledge is just your comfort of the past. It's not your relationship to the unknown future. So learning is it's a way that you have to move, the way you have to listen, the way you have to engage dialogue. Otherwise, in your process, you're not learning, you're protecting, and then you're using knowledge to build your status from you not feeling like you're good enough. And the problem is the reason you can't learn because you don't feel like you're good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So it does touch on that. I think that might be a typo because it's curiosity and wonder. So curiosity, when you move with curiosity and wonder, then you're not closed off. You're not building walls around you with your own knowledge. You're always curious. You're always asking questions. I've been around a few billionaires in my journey, right? Hundred millionaires, billionaires. It seems like the richer they get, the more like curious they are about everything. I'm not tripping. Like, I'm not trying to share with you hella shit. I want to learn you. I want to understand your presence here. See, a lot of times we think it's the most dominant person in the room that's the most intelligent or the best person, or a lot of times it'd be the quiet, the most curious, the people who listen the most, because they're trying to figure it out to add more tools to their toolbox, understanding human psychology. So moving with curiosity and wonder, you're always like, I wonder how that works. Oh, if someone has a difference of opinion from you, I wonder how you got there. Why do you think that way? Tell me about that. Give me your reasonings. Because when you can hop on the other side of a conversation and deduce why and how someone got to a particular answer, it makes you a better person. And this one applies to commitment one. How do you think the learning part applies to commitment one? How do you think? If you take radical responsibility for everything around you, is everything going to go perfect? Is everything going to be smooth? Especially stuff that you are 2 or 3 or 4 degrees away from. But after a fuck up, what's the question that you ask yourself? What can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? That word should be like right here at all times, just over here in the corner, ready. Damn, what can I learn from this? And if you move like that, then your ramps become faster from here to there. That's the difference. It's 24 hours in a day, right? But the difference in time, because time's relative. Time is very relative to a lot of variables. And if you want to slow down time in your life, always have, what can I learn from this at the tip of your tongue? How can I improve? The only way you can improve is to learn something. So every person can teach you something. Every interaction can teach you something. I was trying to think of designs, ideas, and I'm walking to the gym, and then I'll try to do a shortcut through the bushes, and I look and I see these trees, and the trees were just so amazingly designed. And the pattern on the bark was dark burgundy, but the heat had peeled the top part of the bark back to where it had this tan, and it was burgundy and tan rolled back, and between the base of the tree, the tan rolled back in the burgundy. I'm like, that design is fire picture. Like, you're looking like that, always looking to learn something from something or somebody. A homeless person can be your teacher. Anybody can be your teacher. Another culture can be your teacher.
I've been talking to Nana a lot about, well, he's been talking to me a lot too, about consistency, specifically for me, right? And really practicing to be better with that. And one of the places that came up was around like what happens when in your learning or in your radical responsibility you hear the word no, or like I'll do it if I get this outcome. And if I don't get this outcome, then maybe I don't see the value in learning, or maybe I don't see the value in radical responsibility because initially I'm stumbling through it. And that might be a place that I exit. I've been working on being consistent. Can I work through like the moments even when it doesn't go the way I kind of thought it should go? Can I the next day get back to it? And for a long time, oftentimes the answer was not really. It would take me a longer time. It's like I pack my stuff up, I'm leaving this park, I'm out of the sandbox, I'm going home. But where radical responsibility or like the concept has really been helpful is that it's when it doesn't go the way that I expect it to go, can I invest in the tools here, especially the tools around like my emotions? Can I show up to that so that I can get back in and I can stay consistent? So, for instance, I've been eating really well. Really well.
I could tell.
Thank you.
She came in here banging today.
Thank you. And the other day, my godbrother invited, he's like, let's go to this place. And I'm like, I really want to go to that place. Go to the place. I'm eating vegetables, but I don't know what's in this stuff. This is not a place that I was like, okay. So I got home and I was like, shit. What can I do? Before, I would have just kept eating like that. I texted Nell, I said, you want to go to the stairs with me tomorrow? She said, what time? I said, let's go at 4:30. It was hot as shit yesterday. My hair was sleek
4:30
yesterday.
4:30 was the hot.
Okay. It was hot in the mud. We got up there by 5 and I was like, please let the sun go down. But what was a win for me was that the very next day, I made a decision to get back into something that I said I was going to do. And for me, that is just taking responsibility instead of just letting the moment letting that be the space where I drift out into like it don't matter. So that is just like one small way, but that's kind of how, like just in the last week, how I've been really thinking about radical responsibility for me is slowing down enough to care about how I'm treating rest and eating and drink, like just being conscious of it, which is learning all of the ways in which I check out of it, and still showing up to it. Not that I have to be perfect, and I always have to remind myself, like I'm learning about all of these edges within myself, like where am I emotional, where am I this, where am I that, and it's actually a place that's really confronting for me because I've had an up and down relationship to being conscious about my own health and my own self, right? I've just done a lot of go, go, go. And so this place of like taking time to be mindful about it matters that I give myself enough space is new. And I've had to, like, I want it to be better, faster. Like, Jonathan did some 75 hard. I was like, I'm supposed to do 75 soft. Send me the app. I'm supposed to do that shit too. But it's not sustainable. And so just to be real with y'all, like the ways in which radical responsibility for me has just been returning back to the commitment when I don't feel like I showed up to the space well. It's been like the not using that as an opportunity to exit, but really trying to think about how I can turn that around into an opportunity to get another win.
So you bring up an excellent point. And I'm glad you spoke on it, because this is very important not to leave this out as we move to the next one. The question is this: how do we practice for situations when we don't feel like doing it? How? How do you prepare for moments in a commitment of being consistent? How do you prepare for moments when you don't feel like it? Go ahead with the mic. What you said?
I was just saying the practice and consistency.
Practicing consistency. Is anybody else have any ideas?
I feel like knowing your edges, because there is I feel like there is a time where you need to understand where you're pushing yourself. Maybe you're pushing yourself too much, especially in the world that we're in. It is telling us to do the most, which is good. Like, we need that motivation, but I feel like we forget about rest, like quality rest. So I think being able to know the difference between, am I being lazy right now? Am I pushing this off? Or does my body need to just sit down and come back to its center?
So you have a good point. Here's the point. Knowing your edges is a great point. It's a great statement, right? Know thyself. It's another way to put it. Know thyself, know thy edges. So as you maneuver through life, most of the time we practice, you're not preparing for the times where it's feeling good.
Yep.
Most wolves' mentality is all of the practice, all of the daily commitments, all of the gym times, all of that stuff. You're preparing your mind, your body, and your spirit for when you don't want to get out of bed. That's the practice. And how you do that is commitment number 2 is as you're maneuvering through life, right? Say in a year you want to be on this, you want to eat very, very well the whole year. Last year, it's not there's ever been a time where you like, Happy New Year. This year I want to eat very, very terrible this whole year. Nobody does that. Everybody want to eat good, right? But you made different commitments. So you may start off wanting to eat good, and then you fuck up. Damn. All right, well, since I already did this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to get back to it. And over time, it's your commitments falter, right? And you drift in getting weaker and weaker. Let's back it up. The question is, man, I fucked up today. What can I learn from this? What's the circumstances that led me to this? Because some people think I just have bad eating habits, but it's a whole bunch of other variables that can contribute to that bad eating decision. It could have been my partner just shops like this, and when I get hungry, and that's all that's in the house. Or if you're really paying attention to what can I learn from this, I notice, Court, every time you get a rejection, somebody rejects you, you go run to some bad food. If you know thyself, you ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Then you will start to get answers, and you can start saying, okay, here are some patterns. shopping has to change because I learned that when the refrigerators and cabinets is full, I'm fine. But when it gets down to that bullshit and it's like 2 days before shopping again, it's that bullshit in there and I don't feel like going and grabbing stuff. So I have to create a routine pattern for myself that either resets the refrigerator back to healthy, throw away this shit. Like you have to come up with ideas based on the learning. What else? My 3 best friends that hang around me, we all eat like trash. So the people that I love the most eat like trash. So maybe it's a conversation I got to have. Hey, Kaja, you know I love you, right? But I'm trying to really be committed to eating better this year. So I need you. Damn near, if you see some fucking chocolate in my mouth, slap the shit out of my mouth, make it fall out. Whatever.
Sorry. Nah.
Here come the pauses.
Sorry.
I seen it like, you get my point. You get my point. You got my point. It comes from what can I learn from this space? And if you're constantly learning and tweaking and growing and advancing and talking to people and how did you do it? How did you do it? How did you do it? Constantly, you're going to come up with some formulas. Are they going to be perfect? No. But as you continue to practice and you're always constantly evolving and trying, it's going to give you some tools.
Can I borrow your mic?
But we practice for this moment. In fighting, what happens if you never spar with an opponent and you're taught 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the ring, just pad work? And you get super fast, and you're like, look at this guy. And you can hit the heavy bag hard, and you can do all these things, and you can do all these tricks and combos, but you never spar. What happens? Man, you get hit, punched in the face the first time, you're like, oh, hell no. You start shooting. Why? Because guess what? If he's a good coach, they're going to prepare you for the worst times. I need you to learn how to get up. When my son played hoop, and I'll let you go. When my son was playing hoop, he was around 10. By the time he was around 10, he could go 10 for 10 in practice at the free throw line. Because we'd do moves, training, this and that, and then go shoot their free throws. You got to hit 10 in a row to get off. He hit 10 in a row. So then when he started getting real, I'd get next to him and be like, you weak as fuck. You trash. And he started missing 0 for 10. I said, So then I said, check this out. This is what's going to happen when you go to away games. You're going to hear boos, you trash, you garbage. So I ain't going to stop doing this. And you stuck here till you get off. And so I would do, and he'd be 0 for 2 and mad. And then a day he got 10 out of 10 while I'm in his ear talking shit, he looked at me like, you ain't shit. I said, there you go. You got it. I have to prepare you for that. So when he went on to play hoop, man, the crowd never fazed him because I'm like, if you can get over your dad talking shit to you, ain't nobody in the crowd gonna bother you. So you got to prepare for those moments in your learning and growing. And when you fail, when you mess up, those are the most beautiful moments to learn from. Man, how'd I get here? What happened? Oh man, this happened. Now you're honest to yourself, then you'll realize that it's pain, it's rejection, it's certain things, it's emotions that lead you to go here, and you're like, this is fear-based, this is emotion-based.
I was just gonna say, when I was recovering from cancer, or from the treatments.
Round of applause for that. Round of applause for that. Hey.
And I started to exercise again. I just took the Kaizen approach. I was like, what is the minimal viable thing that I can do today? Like, okay, I can go walk the block. And then, okay, I can do 3 kettlebell swings before I feel like I'm going to pass out. Then I can tomorrow I can get to 5. I know I'm compromised, right? When I started training back for fighting, I was like, all right, I can't do shoulder rolls today. I'm going to pass out. If I do shoulder rolls, people are going to be like, what the fuck happened to Scott? So I was like, I can't spar yet. Okay, I'll just do technique. Now I can, back in the game, I can do everything fine. But it was, what is the minimal viable commitment that I can do today, even though I'm compromised?
That's a great point. Let's go. Let's keep going. We got 13 to go. We'll see if we can get through it. Commitment 3.
Feeling my feelings. I commit to feeling my feelings all the way to completion.
Now, keep going.
When it comes to sustaining success, emotional intelligence, or EQ, is just as, if not more important than intelligence. Emotion is energy in motion.
Okay, so it's not like you will never not feel your feelings. We're gonna feel. We're that's part of us as creatures and humans. We're gonna feel stuff. Men, women, it don't matter. People say, "Oh, women are emotional, men ain't." No, we are equally emotional. We're equally emotional creatures. We process our emotions slightly different in sometimes, but as an entrepreneur, it's not like you can discard your feelings. You got to commit to feeling them. Feel them. Just before you make a move, hold on. We call, like, if I have a feeling, if I'm in my feelings, and I have to talk to a client, hey, hold on, bro, let me call you back. Man, you know this motherfucker, like, can you believe this? Let me get this shit out. Let me get it out. And I call you every motherfucking name in the book. And then guess what? It's out my system. Because this is business. And there's no room for that. But I got it out. I felt my feelings. Now, what's the best move? What's the best decision? What's the best conversation to have? What is the best option that I have in this scenario? And that's what I'm going to execute. So we don't not feel the feelings. That's bottling. That's brooding. That's damaging to you. Have you ever been in a relationship? Maybe not y'all, but just me. And just something kept happening where it just fucking pissed you off. But I'm not going to say nothing. Just to keep the peace. It happens again the next week. Just to keep the peace. I'm not going to say nothing. And that shit's just building and building and building and building and building. And then one day this person just kind of leaves the milk out. And you verbally destroyed him over the milk. Really? Is that serious? I can just go buy some new milk. You know it has nothing to do with the milk. It's the bottling of your emotions. That's not a commitment that, like, as leaders, we want to commit to making sure that we don't bottle, we don't hold resentment, anger, anything. If we have an issue with somebody, we talk it through. But we got to feel our feelings. You guys know what EQ is, right? It's emotional intelligence. It's thrown around. It's a term that's thrown around. Emotional intelligence is important. Emotional agility is also just as important as emotional intelligence. Because emotional intelligence, you can diagnose and you can pretty much diagnose any emotion that you're feeling. But do you have the agility to maneuver between emotions? That's the thing. Next slide.
Speaking candidly, I commit to saying what is true for me. I commit to being a person to whom others can express themselves. Jack Welch, the team that sees reality the best, wins.
Okay. The team who sees reality the best wins. Here's a question I got for you. Be honest. Do you want to win? Do you want to win? No? The fuck? Do you want to win? Give them the mic. What you want to win in?
I think possibly anything I'm deserving to win in. Should I just like say what I want to win in?
Sure.
I'm a martial artist. I would like to win every tournament I go to.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, possibly just winning the things that I consider to be successful in, as far as like basically like say for instance breaking habits within myself. If I something I can't get over and I finally get over, that's a win. I think waking up in the morning is also a win. Making it back home, I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. So check this out. Check this out. If I'm your trainer and you have a fight and you barely win, but you getting your ass whooped most of the fight, and you ask me, Coach, how'd I do? And I said, you did cool. You did cool. Well, we got it. It was ugly, but we got it. You did good. Is that sufficient for you? Is that good enough for you? Are you comfortable with that answer?
No, because I don't win the way I wanted to.
Man, come on. That's my point. Is that if whoever's around you has to have a really, really good relationship with reality so they can give you the really, really good feedback that you need to get better. The team who sees reality the best wins. And it's no, like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. That you either are a winner or you're everybody else. And the way you get there, it has to start with how you see reality. If I didn't do good, or if you don't like my shit, or my designs, or my techniques, or my styles, or I have a blind spot, you have a blind spot that I see, but I'm not telling you because I feel bad about it. All of that shit will create, he used that word all the time, it subsidizes your mediocrity. And because of relationships, and because of all the other emotions we feel about you, it will prevent us from being honest. And we're going to lose like that. I don't want that shit. I need you to keep that shit 100 with me at all times. I tell people, I got thick skin. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Talk to me. Tell me the real.
Doesn't that also like create like a fake reality within you?
It creates a fake reality within you. In my mind, I'm the best. Take that shit to the bank and see if you can cash that then. You can't. In my mind, you can't cash in my mind. It comes down to reality. So you want to win, you need a team full of people who sees reality with the most accurate lenses that they can see. That can tell you where you have possibilities and where you have danger. Where you good and not so good. Where you great and where you suck. Like straight up. Shakina and then Kaja.
God, this class is good. Okay, so I'm gonna just be candid. My intellectual brain is really struggling with this, right? Because I'm like focusing on being honest about shit. When you ask the question, like, do you want to win? My brain's like, yeah, I want to win. But then reality settles in and I realize that my scarcity is way fucking stronger than the theory of winning. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, my survival kicks in way more aggressive than the fantasy thoughts of me winning.
Man, you know what? Thank you for saying that.
So it's like, and it's interesting because I'm like having this whole like little therapy session internally, like walking myself through it because like I have a whole ass team and I have 9 people that look up to me to have the answers. And I put all this pressure on myself to be the leader, to be a winner, to guide people, to like be that person that can earn their trust and like lead them into the battle, right? Like they're trusting me and counting on me, and I want to be that for them. But then there's also like that the reality settling in of, it's like almost like trying to measure up to authentic leadership. Like there's like, I feel like a time in every business where your best isn't good enough and you either have to settle down or you have to grow. And I don't think that there's enough conversations happening about that evolution and the paradigm switch in which you have to go through that metamorphosis because it's not enough anymore. And not to say that you're not good enough, but just the game that you're trying to play has a different set of rules. And so this question is really speaking towards like that friction of reality, candidly speaking. Do you really want to win? It's nice to think about it, but if it jeopardizes my safety or my sustainability, fuck no. And like that's the honest question. Like that's not the thing that I'm going to put out there because I want people to believe and trust in me. But at the end of the day, my human brain goes, how do I protect my survival? So like, how do you speak to that as an entrepreneur, knowing that you are a leader, whether you like it or not, and you still have those real human instinct responses?
Okay, two things. Go back one slide. Go back one more. Commitment number 2, taps that. Because if you're at the edge of yourself in that moment, right? Use her word, dope ass word. You're at the edge because you're in spaces that you're kind of not knowing. And when you're at the edge, you evoke your natural emotions, which are fear and survival, because that's what being at the edge it does to you. That's why we want to be at the edge, because the edge is the best place to learn about yourself, right? So you're at the edge, and so when you're at the edge, your those governing beliefs come out. You're also missing one. Go back one more slide. What's the third bullet on that? You're also attaching your team to heroism, which means you're not having no team for them to look up to you and to like you to lead them into battle. You want to build them up to lead you into battle. You want them to lead you into battle, and that's the mentality has to switch, especially at 9. Especially at 9, if you are in the center of your 9. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. So you got to be in a place where you're creating 9 heroes yourself. You're teaching them all the game, and they're comfortable in being better than you one day. Then guess what? What brings down fear and scarcity? 1 shark or 10 sharks? If I got 9 sharks around me, I'm walking in everywhere I go like this. Because I know I got 9 people that got my back that's savage, some more savage than me. Versus if I put myself as the hero and I got 9 people around me that like hope that I show up and show out that day, that's not, the probability of long-term success is low. So it absolutely is, but it goes back to commitment number 2. You go to the next slide. You're constantly learning and being open, letting go of the story. Because guess what? You're either growing or you're dying. So if you're not growing, you're dying. And if that don't kick your scarcity in enough, then shit. Like it has to. Because if you're like, damn, I'm not growing as a person, I'm not growing as an individual, then that means I'm dying somewhere. So the concept in your mind has to always be, yeah, I'm from the hood. I was raggedy ass, dirty ghetto kid. There's gonna be some shit that's in me that's gonna be lingering around all the time. It's how can I minimize it? How can I put my scarcity to the right and step my desire to succeed forward, because knowing that either I'm growing or dying is a true statement. If I believe that statement, then I can put that scarcity to the left or to the right for the sake of growing, because that's my life, my business, my life depends on it. So next slide. Keep going. One more after that. No, back. So speaking. So seeing reality. Seeing reality is what can give you the clues. Knowing what's true for you. When someone tells you, "Hey, your business is in danger, Shakina. Your business is in danger." You're like, "No, I'm doing fine." Your business is in danger. Well, why? Because, and you outline certain things in business that, in your business that can long term, over time, you can see that if I don't fix these things today, I'm gonna lose. You got to change. So the desire to win can also be a motivation from you from a place of scarcity. Have anybody ever had a bully and had to like fight that bully? Has anybody's mamas ever said, "Hey, if you don't whoop his ass, I'm gonna whoop your ass"? Yeah, half the room. How many people whoop their ass? The same amount of people. So that proves my point. The desire to win has to come from that you can use that fear energy, that scarcity energy to fuel you to win too. If I don't win, shit, I'd rather take your ass whooping than my mom's ass
Yeah,
whooping.
one taking that one, dog.
You feel me? Kaja.
I think that these top 3 on this slide, they feel very subjective to me. I commit to saying what is true for me. I stand by that, but what's true for me might be truth for you. Truth is relational, it's subjective. I commit to being a person to whom others can express themselves. Well, to what degree? Right?
Okay, well, let me stop you on the first one. Truth is not subjective all the time. Truth is also objective. Reality is objective. It's also subjective, right? So you have objective reality and subjective reality. So object reality is there's no getting around it. You have a mic in your hand right now. Mm-hmm. Prove me that you don't. That's objective. Subjective is whether you're beautiful or not, right? Mm-hmm. That's in the eye of the person looking at you. So if you're an entrepreneur, you want to have clear objective reality. That's your base. You never want to fuck around with objective reality, which is everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's in a lot of places. But subjective reality is also feedback that you get from your market, from whoever's in front of you, your loved ones, your family members, your friends. So if you have a market or demographic that you want to attack and you make jam, let's say Marquita's brand, she makes her jam and it tastes good to her. And this jam is good to me. This is the shit. And you guys go out there and you give samples. And 8 out of 10 people you give samples to says it tastes like hot garbage. Yeah, subjective reality, but it's your market. So you better take that subjective reality and make adjustments. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you want to be like, well, in my mind it's good, well then stay on that. Stay on that. But again, if you want to win, the team who sees reality the best, subjective and objective reality, they're the ones who win. So if I take notes, customers are like, it'd be better if it's missing this. And I'm on a corner taking notes and I go back and make everything that the majority of the customers made. And I come next to you and I'm making a killing. I used reality to build my business. Subjective and objective.
Can I challenge that a bit?
Please.
This to me feels like the same thing that came up when we learned about inertia. To the example that you just made, right? You get feedback on a product, so you make an adjustment that satisfies customers A through C, but now it alienates customers D, E, and F. Because it's subjective. What you liked about my product, they might hate about my product. The next few people might feel just okay about my product. So it would seem to me, I'm willing to be wrong, that there has to be not a fixed point, but some locus of control like we were talking about, because can you just be shifting for every opinion, piece of feedback? A lot of that is subjective. You might like things that are really sweet. You might cook a lot so you understand how I can repurpose this product. You might not like warm fruit. You might not like this. I can't be changing to satisfy everybody's personal preference.
I love it. Okay, so question. Do you like Bad Bunny?
No.
Bad Bunny don't give a fuck about you neither. Bad Bunny is a billionaire. You see my point?
Yeah.
You got to pick a market and go after them. So it's who you choose to be your demographic. So if we talking 10 people, if 8 out of 10 of the people you want to buy your product don't like it, you got to change some shit. These are when you create any business model, you pick a demographic. These are the people that I want to buy my product. Mm-hmm. Their opinion, it's subjective, but it gets close to being objective because it's their desires, their wants, their needs, what they want, what they don't know they want. You pick a demographic and you know what you say? Fuck everybody else. You have to. You can't make a product that everybody loves. Nobody buys it. It has to have, what's the word that I'm looking for? It has to be polarized. It has to be polarizing. Products don't sell that aren't polarizing, which means you cannot be successful in business if you have a product that nobody dislikes. There has to be some antis. That's what creates the beautiful model, because they're like, that's what creates what they call raving fans. Raving fans need people that don't like them, that don't like the product. Adidas. In my day, it was Nike people and Adidas people.
Android, iPhone.
You know what I'm saying? And it was you an Adidas person, right? There's iPhone people and there's Android people. There always need to be people who I love that and I don't like that. So you, as an entrepreneur, and everybody, you have to create products that target a small demographic of people, not a big one, a small one. People who listen to Maggie Rogers, that's my market. And that's about 100,000 people. And guess what? She has her own little style and kind of raggedy 70s style that she rocks to. Her music is all kind of different genres mashed into one, and she has her market. And nobody knows who she is, but she sells out shows because she don't want everybody. She wants that one person in every room that will rock with her. So you have to play that game. If you don't play that game, you lose. You got to play that game. If you don't play that game, you lose. Winners know who their market is. Exactly. They know what they're doing right now in this moment. They know what music they listen to. They know how long they take a shower. They know what soap they wash with. They know how many shoes they got. They know what shows. They know what Instagram people they follow. They know they're the biggest stalkers in the game. So guess what? If I'm your biggest stalker, what don't I know about you that I can't present to you that you might like? That's dope. I like that. You can never make no product for everybody. You lose. Now, in this particular case, you make it's jam. You're looking at for a particular palate, right? I want people who have a particular palate that says, this is good. Now, that can be across genres, races, male, female, it don't matter. But you're maybe targeting a particular palate. So if you're consistently the majority of the people in your demographic space don't like your product, then you got to make a change, some kind of change. Even if it's a change in environment that says, this ain't my crowd. Let me try a new crowd. What can I learn from all these L's? Let me try a different crowd. Maybe my crowd is cooks. Maybe my crowd is restaurant owners. I don't know. But you can't stay there again and next week and be like they haters. You got to have a great relationship with reality. You have to, or you will lose. If you find 10,000 customers, 10,000, you can be a millionaire with 10,000 customers. But you don't need 1 million followers. You don't need 10 million. You don't need to go viral. You just need to be able to service a small group of people. And they love you. They love you. Do you listen to who's the dude from Sacramento who the rapper from Sacramento? Not Mozzie, the older guy. He Tech Nine. I don't know if no, he's not from Sacramento. He's from Kansas. Sorry. Anybody listen to Tech Nine? Slapping Tech Nine? He's one of the most successful artists in the game. Like multi-millionaire. So if nobody in this room listens to Tech Nine, how come he sells out shows? Because y'all ain't it, but he found who is. That's the mentality. You can't. You better be polarizing, completely polarizing. And not to your extent to where it's like, well, maybe you ain't my target market. You have to know, have people who love you, enough people who love you, so that the people who come and just completely don't, it's okay, because you have a group. If you ain't found no group yet, and you ain't my customer, and you ain't got no customers, you don't see reality well. And that's what keeps you fucked up. And I fucking thought I could get through 15. That's in my mind, I thought I could get through. Well, yeah, go ahead.
When is it all right to experiment with your base or your target audience? And this came up fresh because my son this morning texted me and was offended. He said they putting Taylor Swift in a new Marvel movie, and this dude was disgusted. And so, it's like a light example, but like it made me think about when it's appropriate or a good idea to like have a base, but then experiment with like expanding the base.
Great businesses do it all the time. If you like, it's a risk, right? You're taking risks all the time, calculated ones, and sometimes your calculations don't pan out. But that's what makes entrepreneurship dope. Like we gonna catch L's, but it's about the wins that we get. The goal is for those to offset the L's. Y'all heard of Bud Light? Y'all drink that shit?
Big L. That was a big.
They caught a fat L. They took a risk. You think they wanted to do that? No, they did market research. They thought it was a good play, and it wasn't. They backed up, let time heal. It's quiet. So I say you always are playing with the market. You always try things. Now you do it in a way that doesn't. You try to do it in a way that doesn't jeopardize completely your business model, where you have some runway or redundancy. And there's times where you can't. You have to take that risk. But if you're a business person, that's the time. Sometimes you're at that beak moment where you got to break your beak. But you're always trying things, testing things. Man, I've talked to 100 customers. 89 of them are asking for X. There are times where 89 people are going to ask for X and you put it out and nobody buys the shit. Mm-hmm. And there's times where 89 people ask for X and you put it out and 1,000 people want it. But you won't know if you don't try. So I guess we're gonna be speaking on the rest of these next week. But this was dope. We had to open this up. Had to open it up. All right.
Don't change the slide. Keep it right there. Get the slide right there.
Oh, hell.
Yo, I'm taking this slide, so I'm gonna just grab this slide, and I got some other stuff to add to it. And I didn't want to cut off Court because he was in a flow. Yo, Court, thanks for this, man. This is solid, and yeah, you're not gonna get through the rest of them next week either. I bet you. Because this shit is like can of worms. You just open up. Come on, Court.
Straight
Come on.
Pandora.
And on top of that, too, you got a lot to say about it. Ain't like you just said, speak candidly, next slide. Speak to the next slide. You that's what you say. This is fire. Right. I'm going to take a different play on this one. Let's read those bullet points real quick.
I commit to saying what is true for me.
Mm-hmm.
I commit to being a person to whom others can express themselves.
Okay, just pause here. We're going to go through all of them in a second. Think about candidly is an invisible sign you have a healthy circle. If your circle cannot be candid and you can't be candid in your circle is unhealthy. If you have a business team and you can't be candid and your team can't be candid with you, it's a very unhealthy circle. Candid is a basic requirement because, okay, what's the greatest strength? Strong, weakness, or adaptable? Which one's the strongest?
Adaptable.
It's adaptable, right? So that by default, your group has to continue to adapt to all the changes that is presented in front of them. But you can't adapt if everybody's trying to protect their comfort zones. Because the comfort is what you... Most of the time when you ask a group of people to plan, they only plan based upon what they saw yesterday and the day before. They don't know how to plan 5, 10 years out, 2 years out, 1 year out, 6 months out. Most people are just trying to make what happened in the past reveal itself again, right? That's what most planning is, right? It's really like it's almost like I ain't gonna tell that story again because I'm gonna be embarrassed. But anyway, it's like as if it's almost like if you're playing dominoes. This happened to me before, and the dominoes tip over and the person just moves them around. And go, you don't know what I have, right? That actually happened before. Not me, but somebody said that. But it's the same dominoes. You're just moving them around, right? It's the same experiences. So what you're doing is you're looping. You're trying to change your life, but you're actually caught in a vicious loop because you're not introducing anything new. Now, that's okay for an individual by yourself. That's kind of what happens to when you're a person by yourself and you're trying to like move your life forward. If you don't have a healthy circle around you that's constantly disrupting your looping process, you could be highly intelligent and just be looping. All you do is looping. You become very charismatic, articulate. Your vocabulary is huge. You learn how to describe you in so many different ways that you can create like 100 different movies off of your current life, right? And it's because all you're doing is looping, right? So then what stops you from looping is when people start to show you your inconsistencies or how you're out of alignment with reality. But I can't do that if I'm going to offend you. Can't do that if I'm going to hurt you. Can't do that if I'm going to make you mad. Can't do that if you're not going to call me back. Can't do that if you're in a relationship you're going to withhold, you know what I'm talking about. It's heavy. There's a baby in the room, so I had to cut down. Look at that. Ooh, cause you know what I'm talking about. You can't do that if I get punished every time I'm candid. We're in a society right now where we're so politically correct. One of my old arguments used to be with gay males is that the reason straight males and gay males are not going to come together anytime soon because we can't be candid with each other. We can work on a solution, but we first have to say, I don't like this. Well, I don't like that. Well, what's a possible third option solution when we come together? But if you're trying to protect your position, I'm trying to protect my position, we're talking at each other. We're not talking to each other. You guys get where I'm going with this? So candid being one of the first ways you can measure if your group, your business, or your organization is strong enough. Okay, let me add another layer to it. Most human beings don't see reality. So listen to me when I say this. Not some. Most human beings don't see reality. We see the story, we tell ourselves, and we put it on top of reality. We create a model of our mind, how the world works, and we put that on top of the world. So a lot of times when you're speaking your truth, you're just speaking from your model, right? But the second line is where you missed it. You got to be committed to hearing it. You could be very intelligent for you. So, okay, go back to objective and subjective reality. Subjective reality is what? The story we tell ourselves, right? The stories everybody else tells themselves. Everybody has a subjective truth. That means, but truth is relative. Meaning that truth is relative to that person because based on this story, where they're going through and what the things they're dealing with, it's relative to them. If you decide you want to serve the public, your truth is no longer valuable. It's just your truth. It's a small truth. The crowd you're looking at, let's say you decide you want to sell glasses to teenagers. You don't share their truths. But you'll never discover their truths if you're trying to protect your truth. So you're willing to receive everything that comes. It didn't say you have to accept or act on everything. You have to be able to become this, where things are going through you. The world's going through you. Every time you walk down the street, you're hearing things, you're listening to things, you're seeing how people move and how things run. You're watching documentaries that you be like, I don't even know what this shit is. Let me just see what this is about. You listen to people talk to you, like kids, a young person, 13, 14, will walk up to you, start talking, and you'll listen to them for real. You may even ask relative questions because it's not that you're going to go out there and try to do what they're doing at 13 or 14. You want to hear their reality, right? Quite often, what you'll feel with a lot of people when they don't feel like they're good enough, they're so busy protecting their reality, they built filters, so many filters and walls around themselves that not only do they not let other realities in, they're trapped within their own reality. And you're looping. You're looping. So in order to have access to the outside world and all the options that could possibly be out there, your reality is not good enough. Your reality is not good enough. So you have to have people in your circle that's capable of coming to you and saying, hey, the other week when you said you didn't like what Shakina did, first of all, you blame it. Two, you do the same damn thing. What do you mean? When you do A, B, and C, it's the same thing you just blamed her for. Oh, shit, I do that too? Yeah. Damn. So is this why me and my cousin are not close? Yeah. Damn, I owe my cousin an apology. You will never get that if everybody in your circle just reinforces your story. What did he say to you? What did Shakina say to you? Oh, bro, I wouldn't let her talk to me like that, man. Like, as a man, you gotta respect. She gotta respect you. You see how that person's learned how to align with you, not be candid with you. It doesn't mean that people in your circle is gonna be smarter than you or dumber than you. They're just honest with you. Mm-hmm. You need human mirrors everywhere you turn. But if you put a whole circle of people who are designed to complement you, agree with you, align with you, this is why you're stuck in your circle, your loops. It almost feels like I put out all this effort, I get no return because you keep doing the same shit you've been doing for the last 15 years. The world's moved on. The world moves so fucking fast, and you still using typewriter techniques and shit. Talking about anybody got any whiteout? What? We don't use. Well, I use whiteout in my circle. That's who we are. We use whiteout. Damn, son. You know, so once you guys realize, like, you gotta have a candid circle. So why is a business team that wins that's more candid? Because as we are sitting in a circle, being candid is offensive. Being non-candid is defensive. If everybody in that room was defensive, we won't be candid. Because I might offend you, I might accept you. So I learned how to, matter of fact, I was in a meeting with a CEO. So I told the CEO, I said, yo, not being candid is, I said, there's a point where you have to learn how to, if your team's gonna be innovative, they're gonna have to be more offensive. That's what I told the CEO. I'm sitting with the CEO, right? And I'm sitting with him and his executive assistant. I said, so your team to be this branch of innovation, it has to really lean into an offensive culture because there's no innovation without offense. When you're not candid, you can't innovate. He said, yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. He goes, so listen, when you present the next thing to the CEO of this other branch of the organization, make sure you don't say it this way because it could offend them. You see what he just did? Mm-hmm. I said, bro, I say, no offense, you didn't see how you just went defensive on me? If you got to tiptoe around everybody in your circle, you don't have a healthy ass circle. And on top of that too, you should live in this. Okay, if everybody's intent is to help each other, if I come to court and say, "Court, that was trash last week," he knows my trash is because I want him to grow, not because I'm trying to say I'm greater than him. We're in some superficial shit. So your circle has to be structured of where we all are pushing to move in the same direction. And if I tap you on your shoulder, know that I'm showing up on your shoulder because I'm seeing the inconsistency or something. Now I might be wrong. You called me this week. And I thanked you for calling me because you couldn't see the side I see, right? And I told you, hey, let's keep this dialogue going because your candidness is necessary. But even though it didn't have certain insights, even though it was all truthful, it was good. It was good. Like this is where we should be 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. But relative to where we are now, there's some challenges. It opened up a dialogue where I'm thanking you because I value the candidness of you calling me saying, hey, now I want to give you some feedback on some stuff I see, right? Where if I'm not candid, it'd have been like, no, cool, I'll get back to you. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, thank you, bye. Right? Or you see me get defended where I'm like, Nana, you still there? Nana, you still there? And I'm over there sitting sensitive because why? I don't like candid responses. And y'all know, can we keep this shit 100? In most people of color, and I hate that phrase. I fucking hate that. I don't know what the fucking people of color means, but in this context, I use it. In the world of people of color, and even poor white community, or lower class white community, nobody likes candid communication. Can we just be honest about this shit? Who likes candid? I built a candid circle around me, and that circle is so unique. When we take our trip at the end of the year, we're candid. But that shit is not normal. Some people will be defensive by telling jokes. Some people will become defensive by playing superficial, like all they want to think about is Cyndi Lauper, girls want to have fun or some shit like that. Some people will. I don't fuck with pop. That's the first time and last time I fuck with pop. Some people will get offended, get angry. Some people will throw tantrums. Some people will. What about you? Well, what about you? Well, what was the time when you did? Right? Candid is a direct measurement of the healthiness of your circle. If your circle is always like, go girl, you're fabulous, oh my God, you're amazing, do you? Trash. Trash. Look at my niece on Facebook. Y'all always do you be somebody. Trash. Trash. Facebook likes and acceptance, trash. It's not candid. If I went on Facebook and we became candid, I would be down to one friend. I'd be like, what's up, Court? You still there? That's the reality. That's why I don't spend a lot of time in those trashy environments, because I need to stay connected to reality. Even if my reality is wrong or right, I need to be connected. I need to hear your reality. I need to hear my reality. I need to be aware of the different forms of reality, because there's more versions of you. 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 And as you start to move through life, you'll see when those versions show up, and you know how to hear them and see them, respond to them, and even engage them. But your idea, a person who runs a staff who thinks their reality is a superior reality is the worst leader you've ever experienced in your whole fucking life. A leader has to be able to see their employees, relate to their reality, adjust, and then lead them based upon. How do you incentivize people who have a different reality if you only believe in your reality? You're trash. Read after. So we talked about win. Keep going. Withholding.
Withholding causes 1, energy depletion, and 2, relational disconnect.
So that's defensive culture. So if I'm not saying what I gotta say, and I can't say what I want to say, all of a sudden it's gonna cause, when I'm around you, just eat up some of my energy, because I can't. Like when you're around, I'm drained. I didn't even say shit. You just came in the room and I'm like, oh, I need a break. Shit, I need a lunch. I need a nap. And then over time, I don't even want to be around you. But we never said any words. It's just that the fact that I cannot be candid with you is too much for me as a human being. Next one.
Handling judgment. Judgment tells you more about yourself than about the world, about your values, insecurities, expectations.
When you judge, whatever you judge, try to figure out what that means to you. It should give you more insight about yourself than the world that's out there. As an entrepreneur, your job is not to sit around and say the world should be. Your job is let shit go, adapt, and move forward. Let shit go, adapt, and move forward. You sitting around going, well, it should be this, and that's not right. That doesn't feel like it should be, and it should be this, it should be that. This is why you'll be here 10 years from now having that same fucking conversation. So a lot of times if I say I don't like silence, whatever comes out of my mouth is telling me more about myself. So now, how does that show up as a friend? If I tell Shakina I don't like silence, if she's candid with me, it's just say, why does that bother you so much? That man's doing his own thing. Why does that bother you so much? What's going on with you? That's what a candid friend would ask. A gossipy friend? What did he do? Oh yeah, I wouldn't take that shit either. Trash. Next one.
Circles to candor. Truth, accuracy of reveal, openness, how much is revealed, awareness, how self-aware am I?
If you can get used to candid, it's almost like it's going to break the glass of your bubble. It's going to literally shatter that bubble. Because if you keep getting upset, that's that bubble being fractured. Every time somebody speaks to you, you can't have a conversation about, look, there's no such thing as, I don't want to talk about that.
Right.
I don't want to talk about that.
Right.
Like, there's no such thing as that. And you got to get to the point everything is worth a discussion. Now, it's different if it's mean-spirited. If I'm like, yeah, I'm going to come fuck with your kids. Okay, yeah, we're not going to talk at all. Right? But if I say, hey, you're a father. Do you really think you're a good father? Oh, but you can't judge me. Wrong circle. Trash. I'm out. This candid shit is so cold. I promise you, most of y'all are used to, y'all got these handicap ass circles and you wonder why you can't move. Remember inertia. Inertia means that as your group goes, so does you. And you got all these handicap ass groups. Old Tiny Tim ass circles. Yeah, that's it. That's my era. Fuck y'all. Y'all say what y'all want. I'll say what the fuck. Look. ESO can cancel me if you want. Tell me I can't go down seminary. Fuck you. But my point is this. Going back to my point is that you know you have a healthy circle when you guys can have the candid. And then trust me, when you can have honest conversations, this is when the true change is going to happen. Change doesn't come from reading more and more books, but your life stays fucking the same. And you will think look, man, how many athletes thought they were the best until they ran across anybody else? Think about the Wolverine, the Timberwolves. They thought, come on, man, we got this. Went to the Mavericks. Wah. That's how life really works. When you have an honest circle, you'll tell Carl Anthony Towns, man, hey, bro, you should have the 3 points. See what the fuck we gonna do to you. If you don't get your ass down there and get some goddamn rebounds, won't you work on that defense as opposed to sitting 1,500 threes once you block 10 fucking shots? How about that? That's candid. That's real candid talk, right? Or the coach of New York, hey, bro, if you worry about this fairness shit one more day and don't work on what we can do better, if you don't get your ass off talking about what's right and what's wrong and figure out how we can improve our team, I don't give a shit if he missed 10 calls. That's how we lost a game, because of 10 calls out of 7 games, you want to keep showing this fucking video every week. Are you serious? But we have to go home and have a phone call because we can't talk to you. We're already splintered. You see what's happening? Now the team is already separating from the coach. How you going to win any championship without that jail? You guys can go with this. Like, candid is a superpower, and once you get it, you know how to design your circle. Stop designing these circles of comfort. That's how you do, design circles of comfort. You can pass guys, they be like, oh, is that roses? Your circle is fucked up. Bro, you stink. Stop farting, man. Go to my slide. Go to my slide.
That is funny.
Y'all get that shit, though, how cold candid is? Candid is a powerful one, and you should be, if you really want to get your herd right, work on candid. Make sure your herd is candid. If your herd is not candid and everybody's talking around you, making you feel comfortable, my boy, I'm gonna say his name because I'm so proud of him. You ever been to Concert in the Redwoods? Dub used to take this class. He used to do Concert in the Redwoods up in Joaquin Miller. Used to throw all these soulful concerts, right? The big heavy set dude who would come on stage. He could dance. He would talk heckin' shit. He was one of the people. Well, he actually ran the show, right? That dude is damn near my size now. You know what the dude said to me? He said, no, I was overweight. I'm talking about he had to be about, he's a 4X. He was a 4X. Okay, y'all know how big a 4X is? You can cover a tree with a t-shirt. Anyway, he was a 4X. That's a car cover. Anyway, the brother was a 4X. He said, but when he was a 4X, he couldn't see himself. I know this is personal story too. This is my story. Because the people around me was making me feel comfortable in my 4X. And you don't see weight gain, just like you won't even see a weight loss. As I'm losing weight, I'm letting people are telling me, no, you're losing weight. But to me, I feel the same as I felt a year ago, right? He said, it's crazy to me that I got close to death and not one of my friends brought that to my attention.
Wow.
What he just told me is my friends was in Canada enough and I almost died.
Man, that's an example for your ass.
I'm explaining. We're so fucking, this political correction got us fucked up because, look, man, every group, I don't give a shit if you from Jewish to fat people to LGBTQ to black people, we got good people and bad people. We got people fucking up. We got people forming high levels. We got people that's healthy, psychologically healthy. We got people who's depressed as shit. But you won't say anything because they one of those labels? Are you fucking serious? I've told a whole bunch of gay cats, hey man, look dude, I ain't gonna tell you about your sexual preferences, but don't do that shit what you just did in front of me again. That's unacceptable. Because it's still standards of how we supposed to show up to each other as human beings. And that shit, you don't get a pass because you're gay. You don't get a pass because you're black. You don't get a pass because you're white. You don't get a pass. That shit's unacceptable. But many of y'all will not say anything because you'd be like, oh, he's gay. Just stay away. Just let him happy. Just let him be happy. Let him vogue his way out the house. No. Yeah, that was my joke. Whatever. You can't joke about gays? Come on, vogue out the house. Okay, whatever. Next slide. Let's go. Ready? We're going to roll.
All right.
Wait, would you imagine voguing out the house, though? Okay, that was... fuck it. I got imagination. Go ahead. All right, man. Fuck you.
The good news. You are fired.
No, hey, come on, y'all. This is funny. Oh, shit. Hey. Okay, go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Jokes are just starting firing up. Come on.
The good news is that the same biological tendencies that make us react without reasoning can be reprogrammed into forces for good.
So remember we went over this. So inertia, press secretary. We went into another one. Even radical responsibility. These are not taking responsibility, actually. A lot of these things are biological responses. Meaning that, for example, if you hear something in the bushes, what does your body naturally do if it thinks he saw a snake, right? A lot of these behaviors we've been talking about for the last 5 months have been tied to your biological responses. Meaning that, why do most people do some of these things? Because it's almost natural for us to respond to our environment in these manners. What we need to discuss here is how do you hack the system? People who are leaders hack the system. Majority of people will not be leaders in the world. That's what it is. Majority of human beings will not be leaders. Unfortunately, that's the ratio. But leaders have a tendency to hack the system. So you can reprogram those biological responses to actually produce good. So now we're going to go from, we identified a lot of biological challenges that you can have, and we're going to talk about how do we get to the other side, which is how do you take all these flaws that you went home over the last 6 months going, damn, I do that too, damn, I do that. How do you hack them and make them work for you, right? All right, let's keep going.
Think of your default patterns of thinking, feeling, and acting as algorithms you've been programmed to run unconsciously in response to inputs from other people or the environment.
So remember, all your behavior is an algorithm that's just been designed to just have a natural reaction to its environment. It's simple. Keep going.
We don't think about moving our knee when the doctor hits it with the reflex hammer. It just moves. The same thing happens with your thoughts and actions. We receive some type of input from the world and then execute an algorithm that processes that input and automatically produces an output.
Scarcity, anger, sensitivity, herd connection, herd disconnection, rejecting information, over amplifying safety, using defensiveness as a tool to protect yourself. These are all natural responses that we have built in us. All these things we're teaching in class, if you think we don't feel them, then that's a false goal. We feel everything, everybody, every flaw that you may possess in this class. If we split all the flaws amongst all the people online and in person, we feel them all. We just learned how to hack those flaws. So everything you ever mentioned, we was like, no, Kasha, that's not true. We feel it. That's why we like, yeah, we felt that. We've been responding like that. But if I sit down and say, well, let me share some stories of how we responded to that particular feeling and how it held me back, or how it cost me so much money, or how it created these incidents that would often be crippling in my life, right? And so a lot of these things are natural for you because you're human. You're human. They were baked into you. That's why you hear. There was it 5 or 7 different versions of Sapiens. All right, we made it. A lot of them Sapiens, a lot of them make it, but we made it. And so, because of the Homo sapien making it, what allowed us to endure and actually survive and adapt was some of these responses actually work for us at certain times in our evolution. Next slide.
Many of the algorithms you're running have been programmed into you by evolution, culture, ritual, your parents, and your community.
Okay, so folks who grew up in poor communities, working class communities, a lot of your algorithms are poverty algorithms. A lot of your natural responses are working class algorithms. A lot of if you came from the hood, you got hood algorithms, right? If you came from rich parents and you never felt friction, you have spoiled algorithms. I mean, stay with me. Like, I want you guys to see, like, this is why self-blame doesn't work, because a lot of this shit was just, it's like you're an adaptable animal. You adapted to your reality, and in your adaptation, you adapt to certain behavior that's almost producing the same outcome your parents received or your community receives. So this is why it's so hard for a lot of people to break out of the hood, because they don't want to go the algorithms of their community. Because in the end, their identity is tied to the algorithm. Even though they don't realize, no, it's not, but you made it that way. You'll say, I grew up in New York, so that's why I'm like, no, it's not. That's what you told yourself. Well, I came from a hard life. I understand, but that's what you told yourself. You make it, you're solidifying those algorithms. I'm from East Oakland. Yes, you are, but no, you're not. And that's what you told yourself. Right? So algorithms and stuff, you bake in these algorithms that you can adjust and tweak and hack. But if you accept them, there's nothing to do. You're not even trying to change them. What you're trying to do is trying to make them work as they are. It's like a kid who comes from the hood, doesn't want to let go of the hood, has hood practices. It's just a matter of time if they don't let go of that algorithm will catch up to them and compromise all their hard work. Right? Like you saw, what's that dude, the chubby kid from Florida, and his mama was robbing stuff, stealing stuff? Sean Kingston. Sean Kingston was in jail now. And his mama and daddy they stole like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff, right? Why you still got the algorithm, bro?
What?
You see it all the time in basketball. What's the boy who played football who's broke now, just for bankruptcy? Oh, played for he didn't want to run out the shirt off the football field, threw his t-shirt off. Oh, Antonio Brown. They want to wear gold chains. You see this about athletes. You realize, like, okay, wearing gold chains and driving fancy cars and living in fancy houses and doing expensive stuff is not sustainable unless you have a company that's producing high-ass output. So if you're a basketball athlete or a sport athlete for a short period of time and you develop that algorithm of living a successful life this kind of way, that algorithm in itself is almost insane because it's not long-term sustainable. Right, where like the dude was on with Shannon Sharp, what's his name?
Ocho.
Yeah, Ocho came in and said, "No, I'm not doing that algorithm. I got my own algorithm," which allowed him to still retain most of his resources after the sport. Keep going.
Some of these algorithms help move you closer to what you want, Others move you further away.
100%.
You unconsciously adopt the habits of the people you spend time with, and those people make it easier or harder for you to achieve progress toward what you want to achieve. The more time you spend with people, the more likely you start to think and act as they do.
So once again, circle designs everything. Your circle design is everything. If you were able to hang out with 4 very powerful people, they never gave you a penny. They gave you everything. They gave you everything. And them not giving you money was the best thing they could have ever done for you. Because if they would have, it's almost like a wild dog. If you feed them, they may be living fine in the forest all this time. They're gonna live their full lifespan. But if you go over there and start feeding them, they get used to being fed that way. You just reduce their lifespan drastically, right? You need friction to play a higher game. So if you're around 4 heavy hitters, they're gonna allow you to have the friction you need to have to rise up to join them, right? And so, but a lot of you guys will think it's what you give each other. You know, I even hear these little young folks talking about, if I date a guy, he has to buy me an expensive purse. Child, babies, please, sweet honey. Damn, what's wrong with you? Like, what the best thing you can do is have people around you that allow you to challenge yourself and see yourself in a whole different light that aligns with where you want to go. Next slide. I'm gonna move through these little because I'm gonna get to this stuff that's gonna really fire the class. Go ahead.
Eventually, almost everyone loses the battle with willpower. It's only a matter of time. What may look like discipline often involves a carefully created environment to encourage certain behaviors. And what may look like poor choices is often just someone trying their best to use willpower and bumping up against their defaults.
Okay, yeah, did y'all hear that?
Yeah, man.
Read that last sentence. Just willpower. Okay, first of all, willpower is not a sustainable tool. This is why motivational speakers are trash, because they're trying to pull on your willpower to get you to move your life forward. It's not strong enough. It's impossible to use motivation. Motivation has spark moments, and there is a such thing as a subtle form of long-term motivation that's inside of you that's tied to a bigger story. But that's not what I'm talking about. You guys know what I'm talking about. Going to go see a self-help class, you super motivated, or going to church one weekend, you super motivated, and you return back to the same as life, right? Mm-hmm. But read that last sentence, because that shit is superpower. Read it again.
What may look like poor choices is often just someone trying their best to use willpower and bumping up against their defaults.
So if you're in a life where you feel like you make a lot of dumbass decisions, it's because you're leaning on willpower too much. That's all it is. And you're bumping up against your algorithms. Your algorithms has taught you to be poor, working class, suffering, servitude, because that's, especially, I'm talking about black folks now. A lot of our algorithms is think small, hope big, and get used to just surviving, right? So then you try to use willpower to pull yourself out of that space and make the dumbest decisions ever, because willpower is not a thing. Not for long-term sustainability. Go to the gym right now on willpower. So you're going to lose or gain 10 to 20, 30 pounds. Check in with me at the end of the year and ask me, were you even consistent? Mm-hmm. You might have 5 workouts for the whole year. Those 5 days you feel inspired. Or the day you went to a festival and everybody's stomach was so big, you was like, oh shit, I gotta go work out. I'm just telling you, that's what that shit is inspiration though. But regardless, is that a lot of times when somebody's making a lot of bad decisions, they keep leaning on. This is why a lot of self-help people make some of the worst decisions ever, because they're not aware that you have this innate. This is what this whole class has been about this first 6 months is, yo, you have this innate behavior that's anti where you want to go. And yet the reason you can never get anywhere because you're not learning how to hack this governing algorithm. So you just keep trying to throw stuff in little tricks and read different books and practice and hang out with certain, and you don't know how to hack the shit. It's like going to the gym, working out hard as hell, but don't know anything about dieting. And you eating cake every night after you get home from gym. And like, why am I still gaining weight? I don't understand. This is bullshit. I worked out 3 hours at the gym. I'm sweating. I worked out at a train. I'm spending all this money. Working out is not just working out. If you're not sleeping correctly, if you're not eating at the right times, you're not eating the right kind of food, dieting is not what you don't eat. Dieting is what you add. And once you start adding all this shit you got to eat, you realize, God damn, I got to eat all this shit to be healthy? But if you're just trying to use willpower, even in dieting, I tried willpower against sugar at first, and I kept snacking. I didn't know I was eating all that sugar. I could literally be talking in this class right now and just be eating a candy bar and be like, I'll be damn. Because my willpower would turn off for 5 minutes and take a nap, and my brain be like, yo, bro, get it in, bro, get it in. He's asleep, get it in. And as soon as willpower come on, he'd be like, what you been doing? What you talking about? I don't remember nothing. Next slide. Keep going. Let's keep rolling. So let's talk about building some strength. Come on, let's go.
Our defaults work off deeply ingrained biological tendencies. Our tendencies for self-preservation.
There you go. Matter of fact, Shakira just said that in her soliloquy earlier about how self-preservation was compromising her relationship to wanting to win. Like she gave you a perfect example how, yeah, I want to win, but my fear of not preserving myself is undermining all this forward-thinking shit y'all talk about in class. Keep going.
For recognizing and maintaining social hierarchy.
Remember I said earlier today that learning is almost impossible when you don't feel like you're good enough. So you don't feel like you're good enough, and you're trying to read all these books, and when you have opportunities to when you read, context over content, right? How do you gain context? It's through interactions, right? Interactions with the technology, interactions with other people. If you build a perfect technology, nobody buys the shit, you don't know shit. I got this great technology. I'm telling you it's gonna sell. Nobody's buying that shit, bro. Right? And so at the end of the day, it's like, how do you develop context over all the content you have? Is your engagement. But if you're in your engagement, you stop the process because you don't feel like you're good enough. Guess what you don't have? Rich context. You see where I'm going with this? So at the end of the day, it's like, I want you to see this. Our defaults work off of deeply ingrained biological tendencies, our tendency for self-preservation, for recognizing and maintaining social hierarchies, and for defending ourselves and our territory. You're not going to threaten me. You're not going to disrespect me. That's my shit. You can't tell me what to do with my shit. I'm on this block. You can't tell me how to show up on my block. I want y'all to see this is like baked into these are default responses that are working against us, even though we're trying to build some shit. This is one of the reasons we can't change our mind, because it's my story, my thoughts, my belief. I know what I experience. I see, I. Right? Keep going. We can't.
We can't simply know these tendencies exist and then will them out of existence.
You can't will them out. This shit's not for somebody who tried in my early stages of my life, this shit will have you looking like you stupid. Keep going. Matter of fact, you know what it makes you look like? That person who could tell you everything about business, but their life's in shambles. That's who I was in the beginning. I could tell you exactly how to run your business, couldn't run mine for shit. Because I didn't have the understand I had to hack something deeper than I just needed to learn. Like, teach me business. Oh, I can't teach you business. I gotta make you become a business person. You guys get going with this? Otherwise, if I teach you business, your defaults are gonna battle with what you know. And then what's gonna happen is you're gonna start looking really weird. You're gonna have a double tongue. You'll say this, but you'll do this. Okay, keep going.
On the contrary, the feeling that willpower is all it takes to remove these forces is one of the tricks they use to keep us under their control.
So stop. Self-help, this is what self-help is winning. Self-help, if you just do, what am I calling on if I say if you just do? Willpower. All you need to do is willpower. Just go to college. Willpower. The seven steps to success is willpower. Now, what book are you reading right now? Willpower? This is a big ass game being played around you all day long. If me and this guy talk, he's never came to me and be like, man, you know, the hottest game out here right now is they got these 7 books you got to read. If you read these 7 books, I'm sure our number's gonna go up. That ain't how this shit works. We keep talking to, you know, we do it with our own kids. I told my kids this. I don't understand why they didn't do it. Did you look at the design of their life? Mm-hmm. I have my office. My employees are doing this. And I'm saying that. We had that conversation the other day, and I was like, how's the office designed? Do you know that if you have low ceilings, your team dreams smaller? They think smaller. Your ceilings are higher. They think larger. They have bigger ideas of how the world should work. They dream large. They take on greater tasks. Their imagination goes up just because of space alone. Do you know the monitors that you put in front of them will change how many hours they engage? Do you know that times of perception? If you feel like you don't have no time, you do less. If you feel like you have more time, you do more. So if you're not designing environments for people and seeing that their willpower, you can't say, well, you put them in an office with low-ass ceilings, 15-inch screen computers, and you put a whole bunch of lists of all the shit they gotta get done in one day, and then you go, they just need to have more willpower because that's what I would have did. You see where I'm going with this? You gotta see this shit. If you don't understand this right now, this is the heart of when you're making decisions on how you're gonna design an environment for other people and yourself to perform at a high level. You gotta know this willpower thing is not a conversation. Parenting, most parenting is willpower talk. I tell most people, they say, how can I be a better parent? I say, be a better person. Thank you, Nana. Vote your ass to my house, then vote out then. but the thing is that this could be a Vogue conversation for long. I'm gonna use that Vogue for about 2 weeks. Anyway, so woo. Okay, so keep going to stop.
To stop our defaults from impeding good judgment, we need to harness equally powerful biological forces.
So the biological forces that work against you, you got to learn how to harness them to work for you. This is again, the biological forces that work against you, which we're going to get into, you're going to have to learn how to make them work for you. Keep going.
We need to take the same forces that the defaults would use to ruin us and turn them to our advantage. Mm-hmm. Chief among them is the force of inertia.
Yo, first of all, let me say something about inertia. Inertia is the coldest motherfucking game in the world. And if you learn how to harness it, you can create your own wave in your own life and force yourself in a direction where you're like, I'm doing this. I guess I'm doing this. Oh shit, I'm doing this. There's so many inertias around you every day, and they're like waves. And if you catch the wrong wave, you'll ride someplace you don't want to go. You got to learn how to even sometimes, okay, for example, y'all remember in class when I decided to work on reducing weight? It was it last year, almost a year sometime? Remember I said in front of class, I'm about to cut off the weight to the whole 200 some odd people. I'm over this shit. I'm about to drop this weight. I'm about to do this, and this. Right? I put a label on myself, a verbal commitment out there that created my own inertia. Because why? I hate to be inconsistent. I'm hacking my hate for inconsistency against myself to get me to do the right thing. If y'all think every fucking day I want to go to the gym, I don't. But I created an inertia where my family looks at me and goes, if I don't go to the gym twice, and if I don't go to the gym at least 5 days in 1 week, my family will look at me like, hey, is everything okay? I created that inertia. I even will sit, when I told you guys, hey, I bench pressed 315 10 times. That's an inertia to work for me. That means I don't go to the gym and grab one single 45 on each side and do reps of 20 and be like, well, I did my sets, I'm out. Right? I create this inertia. Again, I invest in a bike, and after I invest in a bike, I join groups who cycle until I'm able to cycle by myself. Inertia. Everything I want to do, I go find a group that's going, I'm going to join that group, Even and sometimes they'd be like, oh, you got to spend money on this, and you got to buy this, and then you got to get up early in the morning and do this. I think, oh, these motherfuckers. All right, fine, I do it. I hate them, and then too, I become one because I'm fighting myself because me don't want to do that. Me don't want to read. So I put myself in situations where I have to show up and fight. I create inertias against my limitations. As a black person that was growing up in a poor community, I listed all the things that were stopping me from performing. I looked at common things that my culture was suffering from, and I started to redesign my whole life so I can fight against those inertias.
Can I mention something? Everything that you just said that you do to have inertia work for you, do you know that there was a point in time, because I was so self-help focused, because I didn't have the willpower to sustain it on my own, that I took that as something was wrong with me that I needed to fix, that I wasn't strong enough, because I didn't understand how inertia can work for you. And it was working for me, but I didn't trust it because I thought I should be able to do this on my own. Now we know that independence has had me fucked up for a while. So we just gonna say that we know. Okay. So, but I literally felt like I'm weak because I can only do it if I am in the company of other people. And so I need to figure out what is wrong with me because I don't seem to have the willpower that everybody in the self-help world keeps talking about. Why can't I do it? That's crazy.
What you was watching too is the it's the illusion of the many, I call it. The illusion of the many is when a lot of people keep running by you going, we're all doing this, but you never see the same person twice. So you be thinking, man, everybody doing it. Yeah, but if you just took 20 of those people and profiled them and then follow them along, you realize, and they only did it for 2 weeks. But if everybody just keep going like, oh, we're doing it. So one, that was an illusion. Two, it's not what you do, it's how you do, right? So for example, what I mean by what you do, when you're building, it's not what you do, it's how you do. Mm-hmm. You can go to Home Depot and buy a whole bunch of materials. It's not what you're about to do, it's how you're going to do it. Right? like if in working out, if you go work out right, when I first started my workout weight loss journey, I was riding at one point. I can drop weight if I do 100 and some odd miles a week, but if I did anything under 100 miles a week and lifted weights and ran, I couldn't drop weight. That's not sustainable. That's not realistic, right? Then when I said, okay, something's off. Let me stop. What was off was my philosophy of eating was off. Not my ability to diet based upon, I was dieting incorrectly. And then the reason I would not go to no sugar was because I thought you had to go to zero sugar. That's because everybody's like, either go to extreme or leave it alone, right? Fuck y'all. What I discovered is you can't go past 25, 26 grams of sugar. But you also have to have about 40 grams of fiber. And for every 3 grams of sugar, you have to have 1 gram of fiber. So all of a sudden, I can have pastas that are 3-to-1. I can have breads that are 3-to-1. But even in all the 3-to-1, I gotta still stop at 26 calories. Now that means I damn near can eat whatever the fuck I want without the extreme stuff. Now what you'll find is that if I go to Safeway, there's nothing I can eat. Mm-hmm. Then I discovered my scarcity on one. Okay, I got money. Let me just say, I got money. I ain't fucking broke. But I have scarcity problems still. I just got to fight it for the rest of my life. It's like cancer. Fuck, I'm living with scarcity, right? I went to chemo scarcity, and it just ain't working on me. Anyway, in order to lose weight, I have to increase my budget for eating by $150 to $200 a month. Not farm market is trash. I'm gonna still remind you, it's the worst. It's the worst fucking business. Farmer market is where you go to die. Farmer markets is where you go to die. I just went to a festival at the
some grapes for $150.
Man, that place is trash on top of trash. And them motherfuckers be trying to get you to pay for their emotions. Man, you would get your punk. Anyway, look,
triggered.
I straight vogued about it, motherfucker. Listen, but no, watch this though. I went to the Cherry Festival. 99% of those businesses would not make it by themselves. Their pricing was wrong, their structure was wrong, their value wrong, what their value offer was wrong, and they were all trying to get you to spend money based upon, but we're organic and we care, and we have these people we're trying to take care of, and can you help me? You are asking for donations while you're trying to do business. Make a decision, nonprofit, for-profit. Because if it's a for-profit space, then if it's nonprofit, then give me my donation, and I'll give you a couple dollars. My point is this. That's where farmer market is trash. Anyway, absolute the worst business structure known to man. But going back to my point, I had to get comfortable with, okay, in order to eat different, I got to spend different. You can't keep the same rituals that you had for the last 3 years and expect anything different. You got to literally say, and this, you know, and I don't know how I learned this or how I figured this out at a young age, probably because I was studying to be a minister, so I was reading the Bible. And the Bible has a lot of this wisdom, so I shout out to the Bible. I remember the first time I decided I want to be an entrepreneur. This is my first run. This is when I was really young. I think I was 19. I was 20, maybe 22, 23. I had a nice apartment, 1-bedroom flat, lovely lifestyle. I had a birthday one time, invited all my ex-girlfriends and just me. Great birthday. Anyway, you talk about attention seeking, I was getting all my attention. All they could do is not show up. They showed up. I was like, well, this is where everybody else. Hey, it's me, baby. It's my birthday. Anyway, so hey, I'm having a great life. I decided when I wanted to become my first entrepreneur, I literally moved out of my plush apartment, took a roommate to cut my expenses down to almost nothing with this woman. I didn't understand with this woman. She didn't like me in the end. It was the worst experience ever. But I ended up cutting out all my comfort zones and clipping off all my bills. And because I realized I couldn't keep the same ritual. The rituals I had over here was designed for me to stay in that same lifestyle. When I wanted a better life, that means that I had to adjust for the world I was moving into. In an entrepreneur world, I didn't have that economic comfort of a paycheck every week if I want to get into this world. And so once I got ready to quit my job, I had the ability, I had movement, I had some resources, I had low overhead. So that gave me a lot more room to learn and grow into this position, right? Some of y'all don't want to change your rituals. Y'all want to go to everybody's festival, everybody's party, do everything for everybody wants you to do through the week, and then wonder why your life looks exactly the fucking the same. You are stuck in a fucking loop. You're a hamster on the wheel, running your ass off. So no matter how fast you run, you still in the same box, baby. Only thing moves is that you got more air in the room. That's it. Then you turn around and learn how to tell people, yo, man, last week, man, I was running so motherfucking hard. I think I ran like maybe 400 miles on my hamster wheel. Bro, you sure do be working hard. Yeah, I know, man. I got to make those sacrifices for the people I love. Stuck. I'm not going to walk by you. You're stuck. They go, hey, I'm about to steal that from my gay brothers. Anyway, all right, go ahead.
I don't know where I should be.
Let's just stop right there. Okay, okay, next slide. Right? Okay, watch this one. This is cold. Huh? Oh, what happened? Okay, you hungry? Pause. Go ahead. Oh, let's keep it clean for the kids. Let's go.
You mean start but the status quo?
Inertia is a double-edged sword.
Oh, I'm sorry. Inertia is a double-edged sword. We saw earlier that inertia is a tendency to maintain the status quo. If the status quo is suboptimal or dysfunctional, inertia works against us.
Yes. Keep going.
But the status quo doesn't help to be suboptimal. Mm-hmm. If you train yourself to consistently think, feel, and act in ways that further your most important goals, if, in other words, you build strength, then inertia becomes nearly unstoppable force that unlocks your potential.
Keep going.
Establishing rituals is the key to creating positive inertia.
Pause. By the way, I need to beat your voice back. Your voice is so manly. I almost want to deepen my voice so I can just feel like I'm equal to you right now. Hey. Look at Barry White misses you, baby. Anyway, so here's the thing. if you come to class, let's say you come to class for 6 months and your rituals haven't changed, nor have you. Just I'm gonna save you some time. I don't care how well you articulate certain words. I don't care how well you can stay in a conversation that you couldn't stay in before. I don't care where you can hear, but finally you gain clarity on what I'm saying. If your rituals are the same as they were last year, so are you. All my rituals are constantly being tweaked. As I learn more, I change. Right? There's some rituals like my working out. I'm still working out 6 days a week, but all my workouts have even changed. Nothing stays the same. As I learn more, I change my rituals, and then the outcome are tied to my adjustment to my rituals. But if you learn more and keep the old rituals, you see the gap? The old rituals are tied to your old algorithms. Yet you're learning all this new stuff, and yet you're holding on to those old algorithms. Challenge yourself. That's the inertia superpower, is that the way you can measure your change in your life, are your rhythms changing? Are you making it to all the same parties you went to before? You go to all the festivals, you take all the vacation spots, you buy all the same clothes, you laced up with you drive the same nice ass car. I remember the first year I taught this class, and I had a party at my house. I think Silence was there the first year. Most of those people were broke. Most people were broke. Like 99% of those people were broke. They all had luxury cars. One dude had a Lexus, couldn't even roll the window down. So he had no fun to get that fixed. I had told jokes for about 45 minutes to an hour on his ass. I lit him up so bad. I don't think he loves me, and I love him still, but I let him know, look, man, I told him up the jokes. But anyway, point is your rituals have to change. But I gotta take care. I gotta spend money on. I believe in spending. You getting drinks every weekend. Yo, what the fuck are you doing? If you want a different life, challenge your rituals. If you're not challenging your rituals, all you're doing is using this class for status. Yeah, I was at Stanford the other day, and I said some things that you said in class, and they were just absolutely amazed, and they invited me to sit with them in a conversation. And at this point, I realized I'm really evolving. No, you're not. Same as rituals. Trash. Keep going.
Rituals.
Oh, I love that voice. Oh my God, let me tell you something. If I'm here, you here. Yeah, go ahead. That voice sounds so good. Oh, not saying I hate your voice. I'm in competition with you. I'm in love with her. Yeah, I need that energy in my life. Go ahead.
Rituals focus the mind on something other than the moment.
Come on.
They can be as simple as taking a quick pause before responding to someone's point of contention at work.
Okay, so real quick, let me show you what I mean by that one. You ever seen a basketball player before they shoot a jump shot? They dribble a few times, right? They have to reset themselves. Develop rituals before you, like when you get angry, create a ritual in that space for yourself. If you start creating rituals when your default usually kicks in, that usually betrays you, it'll give you a chance to become okay, I'm gonna go a little deeper. It gives you a chance to go from first person to third person. First person is Kaja's talking to me, and I'm like, right, that's because I'm right here with her, right? Third person is I'm able to pull myself back and watch us argue. I watch her talk to me, and I'm watching me stand in front of her, and I'm going, no, did you really respond to her? She's really on this space here. I bet she's just hungry. Why don't you just ask her if she want to get a sandwich? Right? Like, it's clearly like that third person. But a ritual can allow you to separate yourself from yourself and command the moment as opposed to the moment commanding you. A simple rituals. Like you start designing your rituals in all your life. I'm talking about everything you do. Road rage, right? What's your ritual? If you know I don't have power to override this right now, create a ritual. Create a breathing ritual. Create a hey, oh shoot, hey, tell you what, because you don't piss me off, I ain't gonna tell you. I gotta run around the block, I'll be right back. Right? My ritual for years was go to the gym. That's why I got so fucking strong. That's how many people I wanted to knock out. Motherfucker. Anyway, go ahead.
One of my old mentors used to tell me, When someone slights you in the meeting,
Listen here. It's all for my few social justice people still hanging on, who still can't stand when I tell you I hate your fucking social justice. But anyway, but those of you who are still in social justice and you're at work and you all being defeated by reality, this next point is for you. Go ahead.
take a deep breath before you speak and watch how often you change what you're about to say.
Hear that? A lot of times when you're in a discussion with somebody and something's important to you, use oxygen. Breathe. It will alter what you say. If you just speak from, I know what you, have you ever felt that when somebody's talking to you and it's tingling in your body? And that tingling is telling you what you're about to cuss this person out, hit this person in their mouth, right? You know the next day that was a dumbass idea. But that moment, that's the only logic you have, is knock this mother out, right? But if you breathe, I can't tell you how many people offend me now and I play with them because I'm breathing. Where in the past, that same person would have got me to be like, I've been that big black dude, right? But now I turn an offense moment to a question and give it right back to you, but say, don't do that again. Show you how you're wasting my time by lowering yourself to play this game with me. And you're not going to be perfect. It's not a perfect game. I'm saying if you can reduce the incidence by 80%, your life is drastically different. But that breathing game is everything. Next slide. We're going to keep rolling. Come on, let's do this. Let's do this.
Rituals are hidden in plain sight anywhere temperament matters for performance. The next time you watch a basketball game or tennis match, notice how the players always bounce the ball same number of times before shooting a free throw or serving.
Or what's his name? Jason Kidd used to rub his face every time go ahead.
It doesn't matter if the previous play was the best or worst of your career.
This is what's important, because the inertia of bad day can turn out more bad decisions because you haven't created a ritual to break the fucking inertia from a bad day. Let's say 3 bad things happen to you. You're like, I'm having a bad day. And then you start creating bad shit. Now you over there breaking shit, crashed your car, lost 5 or 6 customers, threw a fucking can at the vendor. And it all came from you never broke the inertia. Right? It's like, remember mama used to come home and had a bad day and you'd be like, oh shit, mama had a bad day. You don't want to be that person. Not in business. If you learn to break the inertia, like for example, I used to come home in the early days of Diallo. And that's when like things were really rough for business because I wasn't making a lot of money and I was busting my ass. And I would sit in the car for about 5 minutes before I went in the house and just, by the time I walk in the house, hey y'all, what's happening with y'all? But if I would have walked straight out that car into that house, hey man, what the fuck y'all leave my shit out for? That's exactly what happened because I was just caught up in inertia. Inertia is like a fucking, imagine an undercurrent just pulling you through life. And so you got to be able to just stand up, cut out the undercurrent, and then step into another current. But if you just keep just being autopilot through life, and then you read all these books, you see how your default and your willpower don't align?
Hey, can I jump in?
Sure. Yeah.
Also, Shabisha, this is a dope one regarding how do you prepare for those times when you don't feel like it. When you create rituals, when you're building and you're having a level of consistency, what you're doing is you're creating rituals for yourself. So then those moments where you don't feel like it, you've built enough rituals and inertia that you still it can push you just a slightly bit to just get up. Because it's like, what else would I be doing this time? This is my time.
That's hell true. Inertia, that was the answer to his question, inertia. Where we at?
Rituals force the mind to focus on the next play, not the last one.
That's it. See, the future, doing what you did the last time or responding to the last day or whatever, this is how you get caught up in a bad reputation or how you show up and who you are two different people. Like, have you ever met somebody and they're a really beautiful person, but they keep showing up in a fucked up ass way? Or a person is a really smart person and they keep doing a lot of dumb shit? It's because they don't see the power of inertia. Inertia is pushing you this way. You haven't developed rituals to hack your inertia. But when inertia is over and you wash up on the sand, you'll see all the damage you've done. Even though inside that's not who you are. So instead of you focusing on how intelligent I am and how many books I've read, can you see the forces that are moving you around and how you've learned, up to this point, you learned to justify them. Well, shit, they should have did this. He cut me off. And at the end of the day, I had to take care of it. You see how you made all these excuses? And how you blamed everybody? Which then leaves your inertia in place. So if you remove blame, you start to see signs that the inertia exists. But when you blame it, you don't realize that you are in inertia. If you have 5 baby mamas, it ain't them no more. I'm just keeping this shit real. If you 40 years of age and still single, it probably ain't them no more. It ain't them. I'm sorry, it ain't them. Because probably, to show you, in your inertia of what I expect and what they should do and what it should be like and how I choose, you don't realize those are all inertias that you got to step out of to get something that you want. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Trust me. Because whatever you think somebody should be doing, that's why you like Tiny Tim in a straitjacket. That's your world. Anyway. Okay. Where you at? Save me before Kaja come up here and hit me.
Strength is the power to press pause on your defaults and exercise good judgment. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world or how unfair things may seem. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter that you feel embarrassed, threatened, or angry. The person who takes a step back for a second, centers themselves, and get out of the moment will outperform the person who can't.
Start for strength is the power. Just read again. To press what?
Strength is the power to press pause on your defaults and exercise good judgment.
All your defaults, you the only person that gets the right to respond to all the defaults and no one judges them? A fucking baby? I'm an adult. Well, stop acting like a fucking baby. Stop making your defaults excuses. I had to. You didn't have to do shit. But keep going.
It doesn't matter what's going on in the world or how unfair things may seem.
So how unfair things may seem or what's going on in the world, you don't get to just if you constantly reacting to things that's unfair and the way the world's working and things you don't like and this and the other. Look, one of the reasons I don't like social justice is because it produces very fragile human beings that cannot build because they're too fragile to build because they're over responsive to outside forces and not willing their desires. They're constantly responding to others' perception of other desires. You know, with this like, oh, they're unfair. They don't want me to have, like, you ever been in the hood? This is when I knew shit was crazy when I was younger. You ever been in the hood and somebody come over to you and be like, white people, and we in the hood and a white person within 10 miles? That means in your brain, you are brought into these perceptions of what can and cannot be done, not realizing there's no such thing. Okay, let me help you out. I'm going to give you a time lesson. Stay with me. This is very important. 10 years from now, something's going to happen you could have never imagined within 10 years from now. Like, you just take imagination right now and go, imagine all the possibilities. 10 years from now, something's going to happen. You go, I would have never imagined that. It's going to give you you're going to get a download of a new imagination. So how the fuck are you a black person, a woman, an Asian woman, or anything of color? I don't know what the fuck you want to call it. I hate that phrase. I promise you, I hate that phrase so much I want to just stab it when I say it. But how are you still telling me what you can't do based upon what Martin Luther King said in the 60s? That doesn't make any fucking sense. The future is unimaginable, full of possibilities that are unknown to your mind, and yet you're living by the restraints of your past. That shit's crazy to me. Like, as an entrepreneur, people who build, because that's what we are. We're people who build. We gotta move with the rhythm of the future, not the drudgery of the past. The past is like a rearview mirror. You use it to change lanes, but you don't stay in your rearview mirror and try to drive forward. Keep going.
It doesn't matter that you feel embarrassed.
Doesn't matter. Oh, I feel. No, when you spoke to me, I felt threatened. No, at work, you embarrassed me. HR about to fire me because your fragile ass talking to him. Keep going.
Threatened or angry.
Or angry. Fuck your anger. You remember? Okay, you remember those words I tried to get on my Mount Rushmore, which is fuck your emotions. A lot of times you're just solidifying old rituals and habits and bad habits, and you use all these tools to protect your bad behavior. Not bad behavior meaning that you won't eat, but it doesn't line with what you dream. At some point, you have to be able to say, if I get angry, why? Why am I angry? What the fuck am I gonna get out of this? Have you ever been mad at somebody and realized you got nothing for it? Like, has a motherfucker cut you off in traffic and you cussing and the motherfucker's eating a sandwich driving? I mean, do you realize how stupid and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you're not gonna feel it, but you gotta know anger ain't always your best friend. Anger does a lot of stupid shit. Anger's the kind of shit where you'll blow shit up and be like, have you ever left somebody you love out of anger and 1 week later you're like, the fuck? I need to call them, but I feel bad about how I show, because your anger done fucked up everything. Yeah, bitch, you can't even cook cake. What? Did you call me a bee and can't cook cake? Hey, honey, you know I really love you. I see you. You don't see me if you call me a bee. And you don't like cake. I've been eating cooking cake all these years. Well, it was good. I was just feeling emotional. What the fuck wrong with you? Keep going.
The person who can take a step back for a
This is the
second, center themselves, and get out of the moment will outperform the person who can't.
If you can learn to step to your third person more often in your life, it is a superpower. Learning to look at racism through the eyes of my third person allows me to see the person on the other side of the room and say, oh, I see where you're coming from. I see your fear. I see your concern. If I was in your shoes, I probably would think the same way. And I see my concerns and fears. What is the happy medium for both of us? But if I'm in first person, I'm offended. That's the difference. I'm in front of a customer. You can have $1 million. I got so many of these stories. Like, I have so many $1 million clients that have offended me. They offended me. They irritated the shit out of me. I mean, they just pissed me the fuck off. And then I had to go to this third person. After I had my mom go to the room and be like, man, fuck this cat, man. Fuck him. I'll kick him in his ass. I don't give a shit about this punk ass dude. Well, fuck you, punk. All right? And then I go home.
Can you do it one more time? Just one more time.
So the Vogue dude's like, man, you are the worst. Shout out to my Vogue partners. Anyway, hey man, you start to sound a little phobic, bro. I'm just letting you know back there. You feel a little questionable. That's why your t-shirt was just tight. But anyway, let's move on. So the point is this. What I'm arguing is this. You done threw me out the fucking moment talking your shit. I forgive you, brother. You need to forgive yourself first. Anyway, point is this. And so, customers have made me mad, right? And they have been some of my most enriching customers and clients ever. And the way I got there, sometimes I was wrong. Sometimes I came in and I was too right. Mm-hmm. Life ain't right. Life ain't perfect. Life is like that tree he described earlier, full of flaws that make it beautiful. And when you come in and try and make straight lines in a world where lines are just all over the place, that creates this beauty, sometimes your right can cause more damage to a company than good. Also, you don't know people's background. You don't know what they're going through. And you come in there and be like, what you should do, and they're going through all this stuff over here, you don't realize if you don't have the context of what you're saying to them, you could be giving them wrong advice. So how do you, I got you, Kaja. How do you learn to work in the world where perfection is not the goal all the time? It's just moving them 2 steps further. Go ahead, Kaja. Somebody give her a microphone because I'm sure. And Kaja, I'm sorry if you want to come at me for earlier because I'm just saying. Okay, good. Okay, cool then. Look at it. He's that boy voguing. He cut his locks off. That's why he keep voguing.
I don't think.
Right, go ahead.
I don't think you really believe that thing that you said. What you just said a moment ago, this is what went through my mind about what's the word? Candor. Because of what you just explained right there.
Which is what?
The thing about you want to come in and make straight lines where there's curves and the potential damage in that. That slide, I'm really thinking about it a lot because I'm a proponent of minding my own business. Sometimes I will sit in a room and just intentionally say nothing because of what you just explained right here. So how are you balancing those two things?
First of all, I need you not to look at me like auntie no more. She goes, so what you need to understand. I get the auntie eyes. I don't get to just. I was like, I'm over here just feel like a little kid. Like I didn't do it. I don't use that superpower because women can do that power on you. Like okay, women, if y'all ever find out what power y'all have, don't let that masculinity shit fool you. The balance of masculinity is the power y'all have. Women can make a super macho man cry, but y'all don't know how to do it. Because y'all done brought into this new idea that you got to be like us. Our compliments is the balance of each other. And so when you lean into your power, I don't know how to whoop that shit. Like I literally be like, oh. So it's a superpower. Young sisters, please, please, please learn to tap into your power. Find some sister who moved to this world and conquered lions. She'll tell you got power to bring nations to their knees. Anyway, no, Kaja, you're too defensive. You're trying to run everything through a defensive lens, and that's why you keep getting a defensive outcome. Kaja, they said listen and receive. It's like being curious. You're going against curiosity in the name of defense. You go, what if I don't? What if I? It doesn't matter what you do and don't want to feel. You can't make the best decision if you're not letting stuff come in, because you do matter, right? We're not compromising your value or if you matter or if you're leading. I'm saying as you know the world. The reason you should allow candidness to happen is because you can't see around all the corners. And if you're leading the team, not if you're following the team. First of all, you said, I walk in a room and sometimes I don't speak. That is also defensive, right? That means you're in a defensive role even when you walk in a room. I'm saying a healthy room is that, so when I try to teach ideation to organizations, I got to have you speak every time. That's why when you speak in this class, it is the most important thing in the world, even in your defensiveness.
So
right?
important.
It's so extremely important. You cannot be devalued. Even if we disagree on this point for the next 25 years, that is required to bring out a better or a higher or more robust level of this communication or to make it more of an alignment, right? I listen to people I disagree with all the time, right? The way I learned to actually really love the gay community was I had to do work in the gay community. I had to build programs for the gay community and had to sit with people and actually learn the diversity, because the gay community is not no one monoculture community. It's very complex and very diverse. But by me being in the community, it gave me so much context. But if I were in that community with my East Oakland ears, they probably would have threw me out because I would have been too busy trying to defend things I believe in and I understand. I mean, I still believe in what I believe in for my household. But when I see another household that has these different beliefs, even if you're white conservative from Texas, I get it. I can get it, right? Because, okay, do you realize most people have racist cultural beliefs, and the only reason you can't see it because they're deflated? Meaning that if I tell you you can't say anything about Jews, you know that works only because they're impotent. What if white people say you can't say anything about me? You bet that's racist. If I told you we come from a great superior people as black people, right? What if white people tell you that? Oh, that feels racist, right? How am I able to see that we all are arguing racist arguments, but one just doesn't have enough power behind it for you to understand that it's the same premise. It's just if once you change power, you're gonna act the same way, right? How come I say that? Because I can remove my opinions and hear your insights. I listen to conservative shows when Vivek Ramaswamy was told by Ann Coulter, I would have voted for you, but you're Indian, so I couldn't vote for you, right? I couldn't wait to hear that discussion. I was like, wow, that's some cold shit. And do I agree with probably both of them? I probably would disagree with both of them in multiple ways. It doesn't mean I won't allow them to be candid and speak to me, because that's how I learn to see things. And that's how I evolve. And sometimes I hear some things, I'm like, there's things Trump has said, I'm like, that's pretty fucking tight. I'm adopt that one. But if I just say, he's Trump, I don't want to hear it. That's the opposite side of that. Your brain don't know how to be like, kinda, sometimes, a little bit. I'm listening. If I walk into your community, I'm listening. Don't mean I'm agree with it. Don't mean I'm adopt it. But I'm gonna hear you, because sometimes there's gonna come a day when there's a problem in front of me, and that conversation I had with that little Jewish kid in Harlem is about to help me solve this problem over here. But if I said, well, I'm not from Harlem, I'm not Jewish, why would I listen to his point? No, I'm gonna listen to him because every person has fucking insights. Everybody. So candidness is saying, say what you want to say. There's a difference between being malicious. If I come in like, hey, look at you, black little ugly bunny, right? That's not acceptable. That's nowhere near acceptable. If I come in and be like, look here, little woman, that's not acceptable. Or hey, sweetie, that's not acceptable. Unless but that's not acceptable. There's no exception to that. That's not acceptable. There's still rules to how we show with respect, right? But in that space of respect, if I say, I think us focusing on women is a bad idea. Well, I'm a woman. I can't focus on you. I got a million people I'm trying to reach out there, and you gonna tell me I can't get past you? Like, there's some things that women will do that is pro women, and there's some things that women will do that are anti women. Mm-hmm. A lot of hip hop is not pro women, and a lot of women buy hip hop.
He going there.
I'm saying, like, once you start to see real people and how the real world works, it ain't all black and white and clean and binary, zero over here, lines over here. So if we're in a meeting and we're a team that's assigned to pushing a hip hop album out there, and Lil Jasadi out there rapping about food and women, right? He eat a sandwich with a microphone. Pause. The point is this: is that the point is that if we're in charge of pushing his product out into the market, we're gonna have women who find what's the girl, Lil Gorilla? What's her name? Glorilla. I really messed that one up. I didn't really mean to mess that up. But Lil Glorilla. I mean, that's a horrible name. That's a horrible. Hey, if my daughter said her name was Lil Glorilla,
This is.
I don't give a Glorilla. What is it? Go-Gorilla? No, hell no. No, not my daughter. No. I'm tearing up her whole motherfucking room. Nope. Every time she say that, I burn her money up. Glorilla. Anyway. But that's not in her interest, right? But somebody's driving it I'm just saying, as you move in the real world, you'll realize the right market ain't buying all the products. Most art goes negative after a certain amount of time because the market won't buy positive shit after a while. That's the reason hip hop became the way it is. It wasn't because just this one rapper said some negative stuff or NWA came out of album. That human beings gravitate towards negative art over positive art over a period of time. That's been the history of art, period. Right? And so the reality is that if you're in the art business, you may sell some negative shit. It's real talk. Now you're in a circle of people, and they're like, Nana, I know we're supposed to get Lil Gorilla album out, but I feel as a woman, even though you get a paycheck from me, I feel that I'm just uncomfortable with that album going out. And then you go to her house and she's bumping that shit. Wow. What kind of world am I in? That's the world we in. Am I lying? That's the world you in. The world you in, you got to learn to see people. Once you start seeing people, you realize shit is complete. Let's say you came to me, you poor and you broke. I said, no, can you put me on? I say, sure. Because you're a really sweet person. I'm going to put you on. will I be surprised by the time you hit 100 grand or you start making money on your own and you have a small business that you develop an attitude, you disrespect me in the media and you go against me? Or should I say that's part of the game? Because right doesn't tell me that's going to happen. I'm saying, like, when you're moving in this world, you got to see it ain't all just I do kindness and kindness is coming back. Matter of fact, you go into a community and you provide kindness for them and they gamify it and they use it to destroy everything, including themselves. Go to a homeless, not a drug addict community, because that's what we should be calling it, or a fentanyl community, but go to a dual diagnosed community, call it a homeless community because it feels good. Go to this homeless community, we're going to give them some food, some blankets, and maybe some technology, maybe an iPad. And watch all that shit be sold and they be firing up the next, and more deaths. San Francisco had 800 people who died last year from fentanyl, from drug overdose. 800 people died last year in San Francisco from drug overdose. They gamified the system, bro. Family, sister, damn, you got me flowing like I'm talking to brother. They gamify the system. Because that's what when you build something, you always have to think about when you're running a staff. If I build this idea, will they use it or will they gamify it? Don't design systems that people can gamify.
Thank you for that. As a takeaway for me, I think the reason I'm having trouble adapting some of these particular principles is because I don't work in a lot of team environments. So I'm just really recalibrating my own definition of working in these collaborative spaces. It's easier if you're working on your own, to Shabisha's point, the individualistic perspective. So some of this is not applicable to me in this moment. So just for me to hold and understand until.
That's all tight.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's all tight. Thank you. Next slide.
Building strength is about domesticating the wild horses of our nature.
Okay, so this is what Corey was talking about. This is the shit right here. I want to become stronger. What does that mean to you? Does that mean you just gonna do more push-ups? What the fuck you mean I'm gonna become stronger? It means you have to domesticate yourself. Okay, let me help you out with this. If you keep justifying all your bad behavior, you fucking weak. I don't give a fuck what you are. You fucking weak. If you have behavior that's working against you and you just keep excusing it with labels, titles, background, history, culture, stories, you're fucking weak. Why would you go to the gym if you think you hella strong? No, you have to accept I'm not as strong as I want to be. I don't run as far. Why do you start running? You have to accept that I need to improve. It's hard to get a 20-year-old to do the same routine that Shakina does. They look at you like, I already have a great body. What the fuck are you talking about? Mm-hmm. It just works. I ate candy last night and look at this six-pack. Right? So it's hard to create that motivation. So ultimately, if you say, I want to get stronger, think about your emotional, your behavior, your instinctual weaknesses that constantly gets in the way, whether it's cussing people out, whether it's I kind of just see red. You see red and you in your 40s? I'm surprised you can see it all, but 40s you can see red? What the fuck is wrong with you? I did. Right? Yeah. The reality is that you have to domesticate the wild horses in your behavior. That is so you say, I'm working on becoming stronger, and the next statement is not, I'm domesticating these behaviors within myself, then you're not. If you're not doing that, you're not becoming stronger. If becoming stronger is, now I'm going to go meditate, and then I'm working on getting some work, and I'm going to spend a whole week of just being quiet, not saying shit, which you should do that a long time anyway. But I'm going to spend a whole week doing that, then I'm going to stop eating sugar, and that's going to make me stronger, because if I just can meditate, I do some mindfulness, and we get a psychologist, and you don't understand what is the goal. All those things without a goal those things can work for you if they tie to a goal. They're trash. People sometimes engage those rituals for ritual's sake. And they brag amongst people. Yeah, last week I did a workshop, and I did this and I did that, and then we ate some cheese and just whatever. And we did these fancy ass teas and shit, and we put on dresses and walked around like Buddhas and shit, and kept our hands like this. And and just I feel like I'm stronger now. No, you're the same person. Yeah. Same motherfucking person. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, if you're not looking at, I am specifically trying to domesticate a behavior of mine that's undermining my own growth. It can even be, when I read these books, I just don't understand it. I don't understand finances. Are you domesticating that? Are you literally domesticating your weaknesses? I've never been good at math. Are you domesticating that? I never had a good attention span. Are you domesticating that? Are you hacking that shit? Or are you constantly just trying to make it sound funny and find people who be like, yeah, me too? You the biggest Me Too alignment group of all times. Keep going.
Training and harnessing them to improve our lives. It's about turning the headwinds of our biology into tailwinds that carry us reliably toward our most cherished goals.
Okay, I'm gonna give you all one of the most superpowers of all time. That means master the art of reframing. So what do you mean, Anna? So I cycle. When I first started cycling, she couldn't tell you about this story because she going through it. Anybody, Silence, tell you about this story. When you first start cycling and that hard wind hits you, you feel like, yeah, Scott can tell you about the same thing. You feel like you're being punished by the gods. If you are praying, man, this is the first time you may not call Jesus all year. Dear Jesus, why? Like, just tell me, send a bumblebee by my ear and just buzz some code to me. Why is this wind got to be so hard? That's your framing, because you're saying, I want to go this speed. The wind is resisting me. It slowed me down to 10 miles per hour. I'm putting out the same amount of energy, cadence energy, that I was putting out when I was going 20 miles per hour, but I'm only going 10 miles an hour and I got 20 miles to go. Dear God.
Don't let you hit a big hill.
Oh, yeah, if you hit a hill in the wind, at this point you figure like, hey, have you thrown me in hell already? Have I forsaken you? Okay. Get to the stage I'm at now. Wind hits. Oh, we're going to have a good training today. I reframed it. The win is for me. See, the win was happening to me, and the win is happening for me. So now I'm riding to the wind. Okay, work on your cadence, work on your breathing. When you can master this, you'll get to that next level. You see the difference? Many of you guys are running across your behavior, and you're treating it like that wind. And now it's a fight between you and that energy. When you turn that energy and go, oh, this moment of anger is for me. This moment of sadness is for me. This moment of hardship is for me. These problems in my life is for me. When things went wrong, I say, this is for me. Not, it's happening to me.
To me. There's to me.
Y'all see how cold that shit is? Most of y'all are suffering because you keep blaming the world for happening to you when although this world's been happening for you. You don't get to be the big dog with the big shoulders and you ain't never mastered these lower battles. You guys want to be champions of boxing and you ain't even had an exhibition. You just been on YouTube showing them techniques of how you swing. Look at me. I just got this one move. I'm going to swing like this, like swing at my head. See how fast I was? No, it wasn't fast. That was not fast. But when the first time somebody hit you in your jaw, you realize, oh, okay. I don't know how to duck. Time to train. Not they hit me in my jaw and the shit hurt. It should never hit me. No, I positioned myself poorly. Watch this. I'm making it business. I don't take it straight to business. You just hit me in business. I can be mad like she knows me. I worked with Shakita when she was coming up. I trained her. Now she's in the same industry. She took my biggest client from me. No, she didn't. She revealed to you in her early stages of the cancer, remove it so you can grow or you will die. She gave you a warning shot. But you took that warning shot as a kill shot. Now you mad at her when it's really like you should dismiss her. Matter of fact, you should be able to take her to dinner next day and be like, yo, thanks for looking out for me. You showed me where I was weak, where I was slipping. But you can't get there if you hang around the low-level chatter. Everybody's pointing fingers about how everybody around them sucks and how everybody's attacking them and how everybody's hurting them and how everybody's offending them, how everybody's making them mad. That's what gossip does. Gossip allows you to lower your frequency so low, all you hear is the noise that no one else can hear. You can hear that dog sound of trash. Did you hear him whistling at you? What? When you get to a higher frequency, matter of fact, when people start chattering, you be like, I don't really give a fuck about what y'all about to say. Has zero outcome, zero value, zero alignment, zero interest to me. And so reframing, and what is reframing? Reframing is, if you do this, it's a 5% chance you will die. You're like, oh shit. But I can reframe and go, if you do this, there's a 95% chance you won't die. It's the same thing. I just reframed it. If you guys can start mastering the art of reframing everything in your life, I came from a poor community. Watch this. That's why I get angry so easy. Reframe it. I came from a poor community. That's why I got so much grit and can fight through shit. Same argument. I just reframed it. You keep taking the negative version. I took the same community. The same community had the same. That community didn't have one experience. It wasn't like you was born in the hood and your mom just called you a nigga baby and hit you every day. That's not what happened. You was born in the hood. You had a wide range. You know, I was born in the hood. That's why I can cook so well. That's why I was born in the hood. That's why when I can debate somebody or I can negotiate so well, because I don't get fearful when other human beings challenge me. But you take the other frame. I've been to the hood. This is why, I don't take no shit. This is why I shoot a motherfucker. This is why I don't give a fuck. This is why ain't nobody gonna. You see what you see how you can just reframe that, take the same experiment and get the same result. So that story is no longer working against you. It's working for you. You just turned it from a headwind into a tailwind. The same stories you've been saying all this time. I had fucked up parents. This is why I learned how to persevere and discover and be curious and solve problems on my own and handle high levels of responsibility at an early age. So this responsibility doesn't even scare me. Or I was raised on my own, and this is why I feel deprived, and no one's looking out for me, and this is why my life it sucks, and this is why I hurt so bad, and this is why I'm so depressed right now. I tell you, this whole thing's gonna go to another level by the end of this class. So my point is that this power of reframing is the difference between strong you and weak you. And most of us in this room are weak because we're holding on to the headwind and not turning it into a tailwind. I don't give a shit what I'm a woman who's a lesbian who's raised around evangelistic Christian women. Turn into a tailwind. I'm a woman who's around Christian women who are looking for women with eccentric ways of seeing the world, and because I don't see the way the world they do, it gives me a level of creativity, innovation, and insight that they don't possess, and I've learned to harness that to build what I need to build. Same argument. Headwind into tailwind. This is why all your soft ass is. So when I look at you and be like, and I do that. Yeah, I mean I do it with my face, but in my head I'm going, oh, this shit coming in, this soft ass shit. Yeah, now the reason I couldn't finish the test is because, I've always had trauma, as opposed to, look, I struggled through the test. I'm comfortable if I win or lose. I've never been good at it before, but I refuse to let my past dictate my future because I refuse to stay in my past. When I was 7 or 12 or 15, my brain has evolved. Neuroplasticity. My brain started making connections that didn't even exist back then. So in order for me to bring that part of my brain together, I need to challenge myself. So if I flunk this test, just let me know because I want to try it again in the future. And it's not because I really care about your judgment. I care about pushing myself because this ain't the only test I'm going to run across like this in my life. You see the difference? Go ahead, Scott.
I got a quick example of something that happened to me recently. Had a friend, I've been helping him out with some stuff. He got put on to a show. This producer made a documentary on him. National Geographic bought the documentary. I've been in contact with the producer, talking about licensing some footage. Producer fucked up. He used 10 of my photos for the show. I'm watching National Geographic the other night from my friend's show. Oh, fuck. They got 10 of my images on here. I could have went, damn, they stole my IP. I went, oh, I'm about to get a check that I wasn't expecting. This is amazing. Let me find a lawyer.
Or watch this. You don't get a check. He don't call you back.
Right.
But folks, hey, yes, by the way, I've had photos on National Geographic. I've had my photos on. I reframed it. I'm gonna use this shit. That's what Killer Cam did. If y'all watch the Cam show, Killer Cam.
Yeah.
He did a show interview on CNN. and he was drinking enhancement drink, right?
Pink horsepower.
You know, adult enhancement. He's sipping it while she's asking him some really ridiculously questions. That he's like, "Why you put me on the show for this? I don't care about Diddy like that. Don't call me on the show to outside Diddy. That's not my world." So it was on the news. Oh my God, Killer Cam disrespected CNN reporter. Da 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 da. And he's like, "Yo, I'm drinking this because I'm about to give me some cheeks." Right? Like, he literally says this while he's being interviewed on CNN, right? And she's like, "What the hell?" Then he takes all that interview that was bad news and then turned it into his new branding and marketing material because he realized it caught eyes. Right? He took a situation that was a whole bunch of like politically incorrect, reframed it and took a tailwind and turned it into a head. That's what people have been doing for years. Madonna was a queen of that. Madonna would do something that was absolutely, at that time, what are you doing? Women don't do this. And 6 years, and then like, next year you'd be like, she just made hella millions off that shit. That shit's crazy. Tailwind into headwinds. Let me tell you another place that's going to help you out. You're running your business today, right? And you make a mistake by your standards. You made a mistake, right? Corey Smith prints a shirt and the C's backwards.
That's happened before.
Right, it can happen, right?
That's happened before.
He can crawl into a tunnel. He can crawl into a cave and be like, oh, and lose that customer. Because he'll position himself for the customer as, I made a mistake, shame me, I probably wasn't qualified to be here. And the customer be like, yeah. Even the customer rehires him, the customer now positions himself to be the superior in their relationship. Or he can take that headwind, and turn into a tailwind and be like, listen, we made a mistake. But I'm sure you guys have warm-up clothing. Take this as your warm-up clothing. I'm going to reprint another one because at the end of the day, we really care about you. Plus, I saw you guys, and I'm sure you want to just at least let's use this uniform to prime how they feel about the team. And a new one's coming right behind this. As a matter of fact, the backwards C. Did you know that backwards C actually means, you might want to think about that in the future, right? The person's like, oh damn, I really like you. You really care. Or you can walk in there and say, and I can treat it like a headwind, like, I'm so sorry. I know this shit looks crazy. See y'all backwards and shit. I mean, god damn, for somebody from LA who rolled with Crips, my friends with Crips, they would even kick my ass for this. This is just ridiculous. Like, you're doing too much. Headwind into tailwind. That means you can turn mistakes that you make every day into a business win. Mm-hmm. Some of them will become new procedures and policies that your business will say, damn, it worked that well. That's our new policy. That's how you discover new strategy. They're hitting behind the headwind. Ain't that shit crazy? Let me share this before we go home. Let me see what the next slide is for next week. I'm going to go further. You know, we talked about radical responsibility? I'm about to go further. You know, a lot of times when we talk about some of this stuff, you guys are too high level in your brain. Mm-hmm. You guys are thinking about, in a perfect world, if A happened, I would do B and then C would be the outcome. Mm-hmm. It's the same way you probably judge people. You don't see people. You don't see the weeds. If I'm a good person, if I go home, I get drunk every night. And I'm out in the streets snorting cocaine every once in a while. I sleep with hella women on the under. And I don't pay my child support. Y'all never see it because you don't know how to see me. You won't see it. I'm super depressed and suicidal in my attempt. I'm very abusive in the way I talk to my children. And I refuse to be an example for them because I'm focused on myself. You'll never see me. A lot of stuff that we learn in this class, you don't see yourself to make it applicable to you. Once you see how you really move, this is why you have to have almost like a microscope on your emotional behavior and your choices and your rituals, because your press secretary would tell you you're an amazing, great person and you're doing wonderful things in this world and you have great potentials. You take the response of people around you and you start to think that's who you are. You'll forget that when you go home at night, you don't do none of that shit. You ain't finished reading anything because you have social media attention span. You've been on social media for so long, you can't stay on anything more than 15 minutes, more than 10 minutes without going, this is boring, I can't do this no more. Mm-hmm. You have to retrain your brain to stay focused for a long period of time. You literally will fall asleep when you read because you haven't got glasses, because you haven't been paying attention that my eyes burn every time I read. So maybe I'm just sleepy. Why am I sleepy? Oh, damn, I need glasses because I'm 37 now. My eyes just changed. Like there's so many small things. The weeds. And stay off the weed. But the weeds, right? Within the weeds, you will discover that that's where a lot of life takes place. You can have 5 employees working for you, and if 3 of them are having sex, then excuse me real quick. 3 of them are interacting in an adult behavior manner, and they have inappropriate intercourses. Yes, Debbie, I gotta look, Jesus Christ. Wow, you talk about as a man with a daughter, and them like my nieces, that felt really. I said, oh damn, I forgot you was in the room. You will start to have these interaction between them that won't make sense to rational, philosophical, class, books you read, because they're having sex. It changes everything. Everything. All this philosophical stuff. So next week when we get back in this class, I'm going to get into the weeds of radical responsibility. I'm going to hurt some feelings. But it's the real world of radical responsibility and accountability. I'm going to go way further because I think we've given it to you on a platter that says anybody can do this and everybody makes this. And when I finally make you make it for yourself, you realize how far, how painful, and even when it's almost like if I taught you was going to the military and I taught you how to run a mile. You're like, shit, I gotta run a mile. In boot camp you run a mile. Okay, next week I'm gonna shoot at you. I'm gonna throw landmines on the ground. Run a mile. I'm gonna put enough gear on your back where you barely can walk a block. Run a mile. The weeds. Until you understand the weeds of these games that the shit we're talking about, you still don't have it. You still don't have it. I love what you said earlier, Kaj, because you said, "Hey, I'm not working with a team," which what she was admitting to was that I'm not in the weeds. And when we're working in weeds, it might be somebody in the room. It's just musty. I can't think when you're in a room. My eyes are crossed. I'm blinded by your phone, right? So real quick, because I know just started getting hungry. Listen, let me get this very clear. Time. This is hella game, and I'm gonna give you a little sample, but it's something just to think. Stay with me. If you're at home, just yawn and just hang in 5 more minutes. Time. Court said something that I believe I grew up with my whole life. He said it, he hasn't said it this year. I don't think he said it last year, but a year before, he said, I didn't think I was gonna be 25.
21.
Right? I didn't think I was gonna be 25 either. I just thought that was not a thing for black men. I thought I'd be dead on the streets before then.
21.
Which means I didn't build, in my early part of my life, I didn't have a good relationship with time. If you can't imagine at least 10 years in front of you, I mean, literally sit there and just play with it. Doesn't mean that you need to be accurate. But if you can't play with at least 10 years, not 2 years, not 1 year, but 10 years out, you're being crushed by time. You say, what do you mean? You cannot change your rituals to change your life if you're so busy because you don't have time. It's not possible. Time is a major tool for change, evolution, success, happy family, happy life. You don't get to stay in your past. How you set up for time, how you position yourself for time, how you think about time. Some of y'all only can think about next day, next week. Okay, tomorrow, if you plan on eating breakfast, like say you imagine what you want to eat tomorrow, it's pretty much going to go the way you plan for most of us in this room, right? But if I tell you, think about 10 years out, you can tell me for sure it's not going to go the way you're going to plan. You don't get to wake up every morning and have the same breakfast and do what you did before. But many of you never think past today, tomorrow, and next week. That's all you can think about. You don't think 5, 10 years ago, where would I want to be? What do I want to do different? What's impossible for me that I could possibly do tomorrow? It's not because you need to move there. Stay with me. This is so fucking deep. If you can't move in space and time, you can't move outside your ego. In order to escape your limitations of your ego, status, I, me, I'm offended, I'm hurt, he hurt me, she hurt me, I don't like this. You will never, ever escape that if you can't get past the moment. You'll be stuck in first person. Third person, when you go 10 years out, because you can't own it, this is an exercise, people, listen to me. You have to use the third person, the zoomed out version of you, to look at you here, 10 years out. You got to learn to live in that version of you more often, because that part of you will help you lead you. This here is on autopilot, reactionary, and victimized by everything in life. So when that one uses the language of being a victim, it is a victim because it's in version 1. It's I. This is when ego come out, narcissism, grandiosity, all that lives in the first person. To get to that third person, you a taker here. This can get you to a giver here. When you give based on what you want to give me every time, that's not a giver. You get, I was thinking this is good for you. This is what I think would be good for you. What the fuck? I guess I was this, huh? No, we don't want to try to figure it out, huh? 10 years out, so time, your ability to not think, when you're in scarcity mode, it's hard for you to think 10 years out because you're so busy thinking about, I just got past that one. I just got over that hurdle. I just missed that arrow. I just avoided that dart. I got to make sure I got to get ready for the next dart next week. And guess what? Guess what's not changing? Your rituals. If you don't master time and space, I mean, literally, this is no exaggeration. This is a high level of thinking, but this is actually a necessary requirement for change. If you are constantly victimized by everybody's pulling you through time and you're not making any decisions with time, then you're a victim of time. One more. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to go further into this later on. When you make a decision about anything you want to work on in life, understand the science of delay. If you don't, you won't have the patience to wait on change. There's a decision you will make today that may not unfold for 2 years, but must be made today with consistency. Meaning, I decide this today, I show up to that decision for the next 2 years, and I get my result. Even invest in money. If you invest in a 7%, 5%, 10% account, it's going to look like nothing's happening for maybe 10 or 15 years, and all of a sudden, compounded interest changed everything. But if you don't understand the science of delay, if you say to yourself, I want my child to stop doing this, what's the delay time of that? Right away? Probably never. Even if somebody tells you, I changed right away. No, that person just lied to themselves, which means they're lying to you. It's not possible. It's called delays. Everything works with a delay. Some delays are really short. Some delays are really, really long. If you want to change a big group of people, like for example, let's say you become a mayor of a city and you say, crime is up. The change of that city is 3 to 4 years out with all the proper decisions being made today. Today. If you try to bypass delays, you'll cause more damage. The person who wants to lose weight overnight, if you got there in 3 years, it may take you 3 to 10 years to lose it. But if you're trying to get there in 6 months, what are you compromising? Are you building an unhealthy relationship with food? Going back to what she said earlier, are you working out so damn hard you're not giving yourself breaks and rest time to rebuild your body to perform at the maximum level? So now you're underperforming because you're trying to hack to the delay process. Time is a fucking science. If you don't master the science of, in every decision you make, if you say, I want to change my career, you're talking about something that's going to happen 2 or 3 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 15 years from now. You in this class, right? You take it for a year. Shakina can speak to this one probably. Silence can speak to this one. The first year you learn a little bit, but you won't get this class if you measure by 1 year. It's not possible. The class has impact over years because a lot of these lessons you're learning are going to evolve into your system over time. They all have delays attached to them. They're time bumps waiting to unfold based upon circumstances and different things that will unfold in your life, right? In the meantime, some of the shit you're going to forget because the delay was so far out and your life didn't change fast enough, it just got lost in the process. The game is about delays. If you want to make millions of dollars and you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, you got to map out a journey, not a move. It's a journey, not a move. And that journey might be, I'm leaving this mental home I'm in for the next 7 years and may never return. And my new home may be established that will give me the same comfort. But I am on a journey now of ever changing, and it's going to be a delayed process. What kills me is when you guys learn something new, you go, why isn't it working? Why isn't my life different? What can I do to change my life right away? I don't know what the fuck to tell you besides, that's all I got for you. That's all I got for you. Because that's a fucking consistent sound like you said to me. Like, shit sounded crazy as fuck. As I walk out the room, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Delays, time. Tweak your frequency to pay attention to time. If you don't master time and space, I can promise you time and space can dictate your outcome and override your will. With that being said, as they say in the Vogue clubs, I see y'all later.